Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Hey, man, you all right? Need me to call 911? No, call Top Dog Law. Get top dollar for your accident at topdoglaw.com. Once again, that's topdoglaw.com. Hey now, I love when we start a show here, midweek show on a Wednesday. Never mind the nastiness that's happening outside. If you are yet to leave your office, take your time. Take your time. Maybe schedule a happy hour in, a bite to eat, something that's going to keep you inside the facility for a little while. They're talking tornadoes, folks, but we're talking all-pro linebacker re-signing with the Philadelphia Eagles. Dare I say the number one request from all Eagles fans heading into this offseason? Re-signing Zach Baun. Your wish is Howie's command. Was able to get the deal done. 3 years. And Zach Baun, the all-pro linebacker for this phenomenal defense all season long, will be back for the Philadelphia Eagles. Good afternoon, Sean Brace and Kyle Fisher running with me in studio. You know Kyle very well. He's been on this program a few times already, specifically in the past few months. And give Kyle a follow over at Kyle Fisher 45, and you can read all of his great work at the Philly Sports Network. Give them a follow as well. Kyle, great to have you in studio, man. How you doing?
Great to be here, Sean. Like you said, bad weather, but that doesn't mean that the news is bad out here.
Let's go.
In Philly sports land. Huge news right as we got into the studio of that re-signing. Huge number for Zach Baun. Probably, as you mentioned, the number one concern for the team going into the offseason. What's that? 3 years, $51 million. Turning a 1 year, $4 million prove-it deal into a payday of a lifetime. Got to be excited for the guy and for what he brings to this Eagles defense.
That's interesting. Yeah, when you really get into the numbers, you're right about that. A prove me deal. We had a great episode. We did the All-Pro Philly show with Gerald Colton out there at Cheeky's Pizza in Marlton. And all season long, trust me, it's always a great listen. Gerald comes from a background of an agent. He is an agent. That's his background, if that made sense. Anyways, and the list this year, again, the cool thing about that show is it's not always A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts at the top dogs. It's the other guys. And people often forget that these guys that make up the 53-man roster are the best of the best, the creme de la creme when it comes to being an athlete in their high school, in their college. Hell, even in the NFL, we're still talking about top dog. You might look at somebody that like a Quez Watkins and be like, yeah, all right, dude. Quez Watkins was a badass his whole life. Like, that's the way you got to think about this. And to hear their stories, and Zach's was insane, man. It was really cool. He came from Wisconsin and balled out there. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, like Big Ten, all defensive player, made a huge name for himself, gets the opportunity to go down to New Orleans, and all they want to do is give him special teams.
Special teams guy.
That's it. And then he was asked specifically, I'll have to dig this up because it was a really good Q&A. And he was asked specifically about, like, when that goes down and you know what you're capable of, those decisions are being made and you are still left on special teams, not getting a crack on the defensive side of the ball as a starter or getting reps, period. What do you do? Are you frustrated with coaches? Are you taking that out on somewhere? And, like, he had such a really good answer. And it was about looking within. It was about, I need to do things differently. I have to do more. It's not about the coaches. It's some of the circumstances, no doubt. But at the end of the day, he challenged himself. He gets to Philadelphia, and look, Saquon Barkley got the new deal yesterday. and we said specifically yesterday about Saquon, he could not have done any better than last year. I don't think Zach Baun could have done any better than last year.
Especially when you saw where he came from, right? A guy who a lot of times special teams guys are considered fringe roster players at best, right? You talk about guys who, if you're a special teams specialist, how long is your career typically, or at least how long is your tenure with one team? We see he switches teams. They see the skill set. They work with him to determine what the best fit is. A team that doesn't really put a lot of emphasis on the linebacker position traditionally slides him in there just to see, hey, what do you got? We know what you showed in college. Let's see what you can do out here in this defense run by a defensive wizard in Fangio. But I don't mention Fangio to give Fangio all the credit. The guy still has to go out there and perform, and he did just that. Like you said, how could you ask for a better result from a guy, especially on a one-year prove-it deal? He had to go out there and do that if he wanted to get the big payday.
Yeah, this team, man. They don't ever hook up linebackers like that.
No.
Like, there was a moment that I was starting to believe that Zach Baun will be elsewhere.
Oh, yeah.
I think, you know what, and we had Zach Berman on yesterday from PHL Live Sports. Let me ask you about this one, because I think if Nakobe Dean is healthy, does Zach Baun get that deal?
Ooh, that is a good question. I think they wanted to bring him back. I think that you can't have too much depth in on the defensive side of the ball regardless. I think that they saw the benefit of having such strong middle of the field coverage. I think that the league, you saw a little bit this year, start to move back towards the middle of the field a little bit. That's why, your defensive tackles are more important than ever. Your linebackers are more important than ever. Corners have become so good, and edge rushers have become so good that you're almost seeing a trend back towards the middle of the field. I mean, we saw what Saquon and Henry both did. Not that the entire league is going that way yet, but you have more big body receivers willing to go across the middle, publicly calling to go across the middle more often. You have Tom Brady out here publicly talking about how quarterbacks need to throw their receivers open across the middle of the field more often. So having that solid coverage in the middle of the field is important. Maybe I'm putting my fan hat on a little bit there when I say that.
We're fans.
But I think that my hope was that they would bring him back as a fan of the Eagles. You're right, though. Maybe they don't put as much emphasis on there if they know that they have health elsewhere to start next season.
Incredible. Zach Baun is back. $51 million deal.
$51 million.
I know that this just broke out. It includes $34 million guaranteed.
Yep. I think it's like a small signing bonus overall, I believe.
What's that?
I haven't seen all the details yet.
$1.5 million in
1.5
incentives and escalators.
Okay.
What's that like, man?
If I knew, I wouldn't be sitting here with you, Sean. No offense, but
if
I knew
what's
what that
Zach
was like.
Baun doing today, knowing that deal just got faxed through? It's like Jerry Maguire, right?
Yeah.
And they're waiting on that fax coming through. Show me the money, and you finally get that deal sent to you, and it says $34 million guaranteed. It's incredible, man. And he's one of us. Like, he's one of ours, one of us. And look, from the season that it was, I'm actually literally getting goosebumps, and it's has nothing to do with me. I won't see the penny of that money, but it is really cool to see this guy get rewarded, what he's been through. And he was a missile out there on that field.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll get to that point where it's like, we saw what you did. There's no taking a step back now. And I don't think that would be the case, but they do have to get healthy. And Nakobe Dean was a big piece of that puzzle. But Burks played really well. He's still under contract, correct?
Yeah.
Oren Burks. All right. So look, they're going to have
a
good.
Oren Burks. No, I'm sorry. Oren Burks is a free agent.
Is he a free agent? He was good, man. He's probably going to get picked up somewhere.
I would think that he'll get grabbed by somebody. I mean, they have quite a few free agents. It's going to be impossible to bring back everybody.
That's
but
true.
Like you said, especially knowing that Burks is also a free agent, you had to grab one of those guys. I think Baun was the leader in the clubhouse if you're talking about who to bring back out of those two. So.
Got draft picks, Howie Roseman season. Time to make it happen again. You know what? He's very willing and able to do.
Think about this. Would you imagine ever when they signed Baun last season?
No.
That a year later, you'd be talking about him getting paid more than Bradley Chubb?
No.
I would have never imagined that.
I would have said that they won't be paying a linebacker. That's not what they do.
Yeah,
it's like they would not even brought him back, regardless of what his season was. That's the approach that I just feel like we have come to know over the past 2 decades of how the Eagles operate. Now, I know Joe Banner is no longer in charge here, and it's Howie Roseman's squad, but at the end of the day, it seems like a lot of that stuff was bounced off of Jeffrey Lurie early, and they still hang on to a lot of those. Like, you know, I saw a Joe Banner piece when he was interviewed by Rich Eisen. It was fantastic before the Super Bowl. It was like 20 minutes long, and he went into like, hey, hiring a head coach. This is what we were asking when we hired Andy Reid. Guess what? Jeffrey Lurie's still doing the same and running out those same quiz questions for Nick Sirianni. I mean, it's insane to see how that has worked. Anyways, I just want to put this out here. The Eagles have 6 offensive starters under contract through 2028, with Cam Jurgens likely joining that group this offseason. That was Jimmy Kempski. According to Jimmy Kempski right here. Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith, Jordan Mailata, Landon Dickerson, and then Lane Johnson is under contract for another 2 seasons. Pretty insane.
Yeah, I mean,
that's just on the offensive side.
A lot of it is, playing with the cap and extending. Some of it might be these, fictional years, and you see how people are performing when you get there and deal with the cap hit down the road. But yeah, I mean, to have that much high level talent locked up on the offensive side for the next few years is a good sign of things to come.
Amen to that. All right, we do have a lot in the NFL to get to. You are in on a perfect day. I'm excited to have you in studio for the first time. You joined us when we were out there celebrating the Philadelphia Eagles championship parade. But it was, out and about. So it's good to have you in studio right now. Hey, how about this? I just put this out there on socials. Love Les Baun. He does, it's Les. Les is incredible. Been covering the game for a long time. I said, if Nakobe Dean is 100% healthy, does Baun get the deal? He said, probably, but in any case, guess what? Dean isn't 100% healthy. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yes, you're right about that.
It's a lot of what ifs, but it doesn't matter. We deal with real life scenarios, right? So yeah, that's a good point.
Well, look, it's something to think about, and of course something that we're just spewing here being live. But at the end of the day, it's an exciting time that Zach Baun is back. That defense led the charge, and we were having a discussion, of course, about Myles Garrett, and no way do I think that that's going to happen. I just think it's going to cost too much. But I did bring back my one big point of emphasis was the window is open now. I just got a text message from my buddy Russ, who's diehard. It's me, Russ, and Ethan, and all of us diehard Eagles fans, like to the point that we just send hype videos all day, and it's just like ridiculous. And he said it perfectly for my money. It's a 2-year window with this. We need to get one more ring out of it. Is that how you're looking at this point in time? Where are you at right now from your fan approach? Where are you at if you were in charge of the team? What is a realistic expectation? Because for my money, this team will be a top dog contender in the NFC. For the NFL as a whole, again, they just won the Super Bowl, so I'm not saying anything out of pocket there. You have great rookie play that I just don't think is going to disappear from Quinyon and Cooper. The Nolan Smith surprised me. I'll just say that. I think you can get a little bit better at getting after the quarterback. All teams can, right? And offensively, we just went over who's back, who's returning. So barring an injury, this team is going to be front and center on the offensive side of the ball all season long. I don't know if 1 is sufficient. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. I kid, but like, okay. Do you think they were saying that in Kansas City with Mahomes? Do you think they were saying that with Tom Brady up in New England? This team has been to 3 Super Bowls since 2017.
And 2 with the current regime. I mean, it's 2 with the current coach and quarterback combination. That's in 3 seasons. That's huge. And
so what's fair?
So I know you said put the fan hat on, but I am pretty realistic in my approach. Maybe it's my prior years of watching suffering through being a Philadelphia sports fan all those years. I say that if they are in NFC championships and or Super Bowls, don't necessarily need to win, but if they are in that conversation every year, that's the success. If they do win, obviously that's gravy, but it's so hard to win back to back. It's so hard to win 2 and 3 years. What in my lifetime, 2 teams have done it, right? So it's clearly a tough task, and we're talking about 2 of the greatest coaches and 2 of the greatest quarterbacks of all time are the only people to do it during my lifetime. So it's a tough ask to assume that will happen.
Yes,
but I'm not going to sit here and say that I'm not buzzing like exactly what you said. Not 2, not 3, whatever. All my LeBron stuff right now. But like,
Damn right.
I think a realistic expectation is that if they fall short of the NFC Championship 2 years in a row,
yeah,
there's a problem.
Is there any team out there that has it better than the Eagles? Is there a team out there right now that you would say it seems like they're putting it together just slightly a bit different, and I'm a fan of what they have instead of the Eagles? I can't tell you that.
Well, Detroit's there. I don't know if it's the same way, but I also don't follow them as closely as I do the Eagles. So
they have
I don't
built
know
up something nice.
Yeah,
but when it comes back to Jalen Hurts versus Jared Goff, when we break it down to its simplistic form, it's hard to take Jared Goff in that discussion, right?
That's true, but I also think that a lot of people give Jared Goff unnecessary hate because of what he did early in his career. Overhyped, didn't perform.
What happened in that game against the Commanders?
You're right. He's not.
Head.
He's not the number one pick, but he's not some
I'm a
end
Goff
of the
guy.
bench guy either. Right?
I'm a Goff guy.
He proved that it just was going to take him a little bit longer than it was going to take some other guys.
He deserves a ton of credit for being able to do what he did in LA, then going to Detroit. They don't win in Detroit. That's not my whole life. They never win in Detroit.
Even with the guy who ended up getting LA over the hump.
Correct.
And he's a future Hall of Famer, and they couldn't win with him either.
Yep.
Him and Megatron couldn't get it done. This guy's given them new life in Detroit. So maybe them, and then I really like what Minnesota's doing, but same thing, right?
Wow.
There's no such thing as a plug and play at quarterback. It's the most important position in all of sports.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that they've been able to do what they've done with Sam Darnold on a 1-year deal, and they feel confident with McCarthy going into next year, we'll see who they end up getting in the offseason if they want to bring somebody else because they feel like McCarthy's not going to be ready to start the season. We'll see how that plays out. But what they've done to build talent around them, it's kind of my philosophy has always been, if you are a bottom dwelling team, the way to come out of that is not draft a quarterback number 1 overall. Because if you were terrible enough to be in a position to pick number 1, then you're just going to put that guy and throw him to the wolves and hope that he figures out how to develop. No, you need to build a roster and then find the guy. And that's what the Eagles did. They were lucky enough to get Carson Wentz and forward thinking enough to take Jalen Hurts because they saw something that they loved, right?
Yeah.
The Vikings have built a structure on both sides of the ball that lends itself to a 15-2 season, 14-3. I forget what they finished with, but one of the top records in all of football.
Yeah.
And they don't have a guy who anybody would consider a top tier quarterback. Now they go find that guy and develop that guy with their head coach who's supposed to be in the quarterback whisperer realm. So
pretty damn good.
Those are the two teams I would say, at least NFC side, that are similar models, but being on the ground and following the Eagles as closely as I do and following all the reporters that we know, Jeff Kerr is always giving great insights. These guys really add to what we already see.
Yeah.
And just being fully engulfed, I mean, it's hard to say that anybody's on their level.
I agree. We will bring up the quarterback discussion a little bit later in this program because I do have that written down. If you're Tennessee, what do you do? I will tell you that we're going to go head-to-head on that one.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to go head-to-head on that one over number 1, taking a quarterback. But a lot to discuss. Love to get you involved out there at Fox PHL Gambler. Hit us up on socials. We are live streaming. You name it, we're there. Kyle Fisher in studio. Baun again. Yeah, Zach Baun is back. Eagles bring back their all-pro linebacker. Today is a good day. So was yesterday with Saquon Barkley.
Oh, yeah.
Unbelievable. Eagles are hooking up everybody. It's crazy to see how that they're able to work the cap, make all this fit under, keep everybody healthy, happy, nobody upset. And, oh, by the way, still fighting off these dumb rumors that the New England Patriots media continues to put out there with AJ
throwing sage like Travis Scott did at Elimination Chamber this weekend.
Oh, a little wrestling.
That's what we're calling it.
Right. A little wrestling talk. I like that. All right. Kyle's with me all show. We are broadcasting live on Friday from the Philly show out in Oaks, PA. If you don't know what the Philly show is, collectibles, you name it, they have it there. That's number 1. Number 2 is they are rolling out the red carpet. Speaking of the Philadelphia Eagles, I'm talking about anybody and everybody except for Saquon Barkley, who I saw today on my Facebook on a flight to the Bahamas.
Okay.
Not in first class.
What?
Could you imagine? You're going on vacation to the Bahamas. You get to the airport down to Philadelphia here, get to your gate. You're in section 3. They call you up. Boom, group 3. You start the board. You sit down and you look over, and there is Saquon Barkley sitting next to you. What are you doing? What is allowed? Because I'll tell you what, the people on my Facebook went up to him. He had his hood up, took pictures. I believe he had one of his kids with him. I didn't see, the whole spiel, but it was a 3-seater. It was a small plane. I think it was a 3-seater and a 2-seater, if I'm not mistaken. And he was sitting. No, because they don't make them like that. It's 3 and 3.
Either 2, 3.
Yeah, 3, 3. Yeah.
Tiny ones like 2
or
and 1.
2-1. Yeah. It wasn't that. So, could you imagine? You sit down and there's Saquon Barkley. Now, me, I will talk to him. I have no issues talking to him. I'm not asking for a picture.
No.
I won't. No, you agree.
I'm not a big take a picture with people. I think it's more our profession. Like, it just doesn't feel professional especially like in public. Maybe if I bumped into him outside and no one else is around, but like on the plane with a bunch of people around, now everybody's going to see me do that and they're going to want the same thing. And I've ruined this guy's day. He's already in coach with the rest of us. Now I'm going to add everybody asking for pictures on top of it. I'm not going to be that guy.
I mean this with all love and respect, because those people on Facebook probably think it's the world. And I don't want to step on that, from an average Joe. Like, nice. You did it. You got something that you could tell he didn't want to be bothered.
Yeah,
and I would have respected that.
Again, he's already back there. That's probably an issue for him to begin with. And now he's like, geez, these guys, come on.
Yeah, he had this.
It had to be a last-minute ticket, right?
He took the picture. I give him credit on that.
He's nice enough. But
anyways, Philly Show going down this weekend. All the details at phillyshow.com. We will broadcasting live on Friday. Here's the deal. We have a giveaway currently going on our Instagram page right here, right now. We hooked up the people with a Jake Elliott jersey going off of right now on at Fox PHL Gambler. Folks, it's real easy. All you got to do is get on over there, give us a follow, and as soon as I can pick it up, I'll be much better that way here. But we are giving away currently a LaShawn McCoy autographed helmet. Yes. All you have to do is get on over to our at Fox PHL Gambler Instagram page. Step 1, like the post. Step 2, follow the Gambler and the Philly Show. Step 3, tag 3 friends, and we will be randomly selecting a winner. And we will call that name on Friday live from the Philly Show. With the Philly Show, a good friend of the program. I met this young lady at the last time we were broadcasting out there, Kayla. She is a future star in the collectible industry. As a matter of fact, she already is a star. She's got over 8,000 followers on Instagram. She's going to join us on the other side to talk a little bit about the do's and don'ts. This is going to be one of the busiest Philly shows ever. Simply stated, we don't need to go into details. Super Bowl 59 just happened.
Oh, yeah.
They're rolling out the red carpet for everybody. You talking Sirianni, Howie, Jalen Rose. Dom's going to be there. Gilly's going to be there.
Oh, wow.
Everybody's going to be there. It's incredible, the Rolodex of names that's going to be at the Philly Show. Kayla's going to join us on the other side to give us some do's and don'ts to help you out for your first timers. And maybe you were there last time. You got a little, you got a little crowded. Who knows? But she's going to walk us through as far as the process is concerned. We'll also talk a little bit about what's happening in the collectible industry. Have some fun with Kayla. She joins us on the other side. It's the Daily Ticket. Kyle Fisher in studio with us. A lot to discuss. Don't go here.
Buckets, brackets, and bankrolls.
He's going to try to get Alabama off of the court.
March's Real Madness starts here. It's the Gambler.
Febreze.
It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now, all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Stay tuned to Fox PHL The Gambler for the latest CEOs you should know.
Justin Jude, Global CEO of LKQ Corporation.
Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Did you know that virtual dolphins could be the key to managing stress? Or that electronic music could save the world from malaria? Believe it or not, it is all true. And you can hear these stories plus many more all this week on Part-Time Genius as we count down the 25 greatest science ideas of the past 25 years. It's a week full of fact-packed episodes you will not want to miss.
NASA scientists have already fast-tracked another important use for black fungus, protecting astronauts from cosmic radiation.
Open your free iHeartRadio app, search Part-Time Genius, and listen now.
At Rocket, we believe everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. So if you're feeling locked out of home ownership, we're here to give you back the keys. We're opening doors, breaking down walls, and doing everything we can to turn renters into owners. And we're not going to stop until we help everyone home. To find out more, visit rocket.com. Rocket, own the dream.
Eat Lux your way with the new $5 Classic, $7 Supreme, and $9 Discovery Lux Craving Boxes from Taco Bell at participating stores for a limited time only. While supplies last, price of participation varies. Drinks excludes freezes. Tax extra.
Here's what's trending on the iHeart Sports Network, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook.
The Eagles are locking down linebacker Zach Baun. It's a 3-year, $51 million contract. Baun emerged as a key contributor during Philly's Super Bowl title run. College basketball rolls on tonight when LaSalle visits George Mason and St. Joe's hosts Rhode Island. And George Mason broke a 42-year-old Division I baseball record on Tuesday. They scored 23 runs in a single inning against Holy Cross. I'm Scott Davidson.
Check out what DraftKings has to offer this season with code SPORTS, because life's more fun when you're in on the action. DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Age and eligibility restrictions apply. Void where prohibited. See DraftKings.com for details.
Get ready for the biggest night in podcasting. The iHeart Podcast Award goes to...
Join us for our 2025 iHeart Podcast Awards, live from Austin, Texas at South by Southwest.
Celebrating the most innovative and influential voices in the podcasting world.
Push boundaries. Sit down with amazing guests every week. And engage audiences in new, remarkable ways.
Don't miss our 2025 iHeart Podcast Awards.
Watch on iHeartRadio's YouTube channel and listen right here.
Monday night at 11.
As we bring it back here on The Gambler, what's your go-to type of music in the summertime, Kyle Fisher? Because warm weather is on the horizon, sir.
I like me some mellow R&B rap
Really?
stuff. Like I'm a big, actually one of our guys I love putting on in the summer, Chill Moody. That's one of your boys.
Oh yeah, man.
Saw him by accident years ago he was opening for Sean Paul, and he brought out Freeway. It was the night before the Wing Bowl, like 12
At the
years
TLA?
ago. Yeah.
How about that?
And I didn't know that he was going to be there. I ended up following him after that. It was great stuff. I bought his kombucha, his beer, everything. The dude's awesome.
Chill's,
So, I love him. I'll put on all kinds of stuff like that.
Shout out Chill Moody. Yeah, I love Chill. Chill and Wes, they're my dudes. And Chill just celebrated a birthday yesterday.
Yes,
How
he
about
did.
that? And my wife's birthday today. Happy birthday to my lovely lady, my lovely wife.
Hey, happy birthday.
Yes, and she's we were going to do hibachi, and I was excited about that, but we're going to push that back to next week. We're dealing with she's 6.5 months pregnant, so she tells me when she wants to do something. We're there. All right, folks, speaking of doing something, how about this, people? We have been broadcasting a few times from this place, and this will be, I think, our 4th time, if I'm not mistaken, the Philly show. And you might ask yourself, all right, Brace, I've been hearing you talk about this Philly show for a little while, and maybe you missed our broadcasts over the years. But here's the deal. Go ahead and check it out right now online at phillyshow.com. You're going to see exactly what is taking place in Oaks, PA, starting on Friday. First and foremost, we will be broadcasting live from 3 to 6 p.m. and can't wait to be there. Second, it is a huge celebration for the Philadelphia Eagles, Super Bowl champions. You can get the list of autograph signees, who's going to be there, times that they're going to be there. And to tell us a little bit more about what to expect for this unbelievable Philly show coming our way this weekend out in Oaks, PA. It's our good friend of the program, Kayla. She hopped on the show last time we were live. She's going to be there as well. I believe Kayla is in Florida, if I'm not mistaken. Kayla, good afternoon. Am I right about that?
You are correct.
That's
yes.
right.
Good afternoon.
Great to have you, Kayla. We're really excited to run into you again this weekend. And, of course, being involved with the Philly show, Christie and Company. Can't wait to touch base again. But this is a big one. This is probably the biggest one that I could remember. Now, they've been doing it a long, long time. But, Kayla, we're talking about Super Bowl champions. We're talking about the Philadelphia Eagles, and they're all going to be there. But I would imagine it's going to be pretty busy. So I'm curious if you had a tip or two for the people out there that you would say, you know what, it's going to be your first time at the Philly show. You need to do this. I know you put out a great article. What can you tell the people right now?
Yeah, this show is going to be massive, and it is going to bring a lot of diehard Eagles fans. And Philly fans are known for showing out for their teams. So a couple tips, like, one, make sure you build in plenty of time when you're attending. You want to make sure everything can go according to plan. You want to be able to get where you want to go, be able to get the autographs and photos, all that good stuff. So parking lot holds a lot of spaces.
Yes.
But with the anticipated crowds, you may want to get there early just to make sure you get your parking spot. And then the will call and VIP bands are both in Hall A. So you want to make sure you have enough time to get your passes for that. And I think it's going to be a fantastic show. I talked to a couple of other people in the hobby that are attending, and they're all really excited, and we're all looking forward to seeing how Philly shows out for their Eagles.
Kayla can be found on Instagram at Kayla.collects. She's an up-and-coming, dare I say, you're already a star, Kayla, but you've been being able to thrive and make a name for yourself in this collectible world, and there's a lot of people out there that are content creators, but you stand out, and I think it's because you're authentic. You're very genuine, and you're pretty darn good at what you do. You had your eyes set on a few Orioles the last time we spoke, and I'm looking at your Instagram page. It looks like you scored on a few Austin Hayes rainbow cards there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I super collect Austin Hayes, and for anyone who's not familiar with the sports card lingo, super collect means you really try to get each card of that athlete as they come out. So a rainbow in the sports card world is where you collect one of every parallel in a certain set. So the one I just posted was a 5-card rainbow, and I got all 5 parallels: the 101, the red out of 5, the black out of 10, the orange out of 25, and the base out of 50. But a rainbow can be up to anywhere to 40 cards and some flagship products. But yeah, Austin Hayes is my guy, and I've collected him for since his rookie cards started coming out in 2018.
Take me through the process. So you're trying to get all these rainbow cards. How, can I ask, like, I'm not trying to get in your wallet, but like, how many packs, how many boxes, how do you come about? How long does it take you to land every one of those cards that you've been aiming to get?
Yeah, this one actually only took me like 6-7 months, which is crazy. That's very abnormal for completing a rainbow.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
That's very, very fast because the set that came from came out in late July. And so it only took me really a little bit over a half a year.
Okay.
But most of those cards I bought through eBay. That's a great source of adding cards to your collection. And you can have save searches on eBay. So I typically have just Austin Hayes saved, and then I go through and see which cards I need. Again, and with being on social media and sharing my Austin Hayes collection, I sometimes have people reach out to me saying that they have low numbered cards and seeing if I have them, if I want to do a deal with them, or sometimes at shows I get gifted cards. This one actually didn't cost me too much.
Okay.
The 101 was the most expensive, and luckily the dealer on eBay, I reached out and was like, hey, this is the last card. Actually, the red out of 5 was the last card I needed. And the person cut me a deal. I was like, hey, this is the last card I need for my rainbow. It was the only one I had seen pop up. And he luckily cut me a little bit of a deal on it just because I knew roughly how much I wanted to pay. And it was a little bit more. So I was able to negotiate and land the red out of 5 to finish it.
She's good. She's good, Kyle. This isn't like, and that's good. That's good because sometimes the hammerheads get the lights shined on them, Kayla, and a matter of fact, I just saw this Pokemon craze where people are like literally fighting over this. Vending machines. You got people in the Costco lines out there in LA, like ready to duke it out over Pokemon cards. Grown men, as usual, right?
Yeah.
But it's good to hear that not everybody is like that in the industry. And of course, Kayla is joining us right now. Mandatory follow. All right, Daily Ticket listeners, Kayla.collects. She's killing it. She's crushing it. And she'll be there this weekend representing the squad over at the Philly show as content creators. There's a couple of them. They'll be on the show on Friday as well. We'll touch base. We'll talk a little bit more about what's new and what's hot in the world of collectibles, and especially specifically talking about the Philadelphia Eagles. But one more, general admission tickets must be purchased for each day you wish to attend the show and are required for access to the autograph pavilion. So a quick question on the autographs, Kayla, if you could. When like we know Jalen Hurts is going to be there on Friday, right? So Jalen Hurts is going to be there. I want to get an autograph. I want my boy to get there, my son or whatever. I'm running with a friend, and I want to be able to get the Jalen Hurts autograph. How does that work? Because I know he's not going to be there unlimited, and I would assume there's going to be thousands of people that would love to be just like me getting an autograph of Jalen Hurts. If I was talking literally about me, I'm just using me as a hypothetical. Anyways, with that being said. How does that work? What's the next process or the step in the process to obtaining a Jalen Hurts autograph, meeting him at the Philly show?
Yes. So Jalen Hurts is actually one of two athletes that's sold out, meaning both his photo ops and autograph opportunities are sold out. I believe Devontae Smith is also sold out. There was a re-release of a couple things. I believe his photo ops were re-released for like 50 opportunities. I don't know if those are sold out now. But there are plenty of other names like Cooper DeJean, Dallas Goedert, Nakobe Dean, like just to highlight a few. To purchase those are available to purchase on the Philly Show website. And that is both for photo ops and autograph opportunities. If you end up attending in person and want to purchase autograph tickets or photo op tickets at site, those are also available. Those will be in the autograph pavilion. There will likely be a booth that says like pick up tickets here or purchase tickets here. In the past, that's typically how it's been. But still a lot of really good names and a lot of fun opportunities left.
Absolutely.
Now, Kayla, hi, this is Kyle here. Had a question for you. I'm not a huge collector, but I do follow closely one of my good friends, Caleb Mezzi. He's actually Bryce Harper super collector. He is really big into collectibles at the moment, booming industry. He's really big into grades, and he likes to have his cards displayed with those grades on the top. Is that pretty universal for collectors, or are you more of I just want to get who I like to put them on display, use it for social purposes, and it's kind of hit or miss whether collectors are big into the grading process or not?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say it really honestly depends on the collector. A lot of collectors love having their cards graded, encapsulated, no matter what the grade is, just to have it protected and keep it in that slab for however long they decide to keep it until they sell it or if they pass it down to different people in their family. Personally, I don't grade my cards very often, hardly ever. I've only done one grading submission ever in my life. And I honestly just like having them raw because I kind of like being able to like hold them in your hand that way. And in grading, like it does increase the value depending on the grade. But for me, I'm not really, at least in my PC, I'm not looking to sell any of those cards. So for me, grading doesn't hold much purpose. But if I were to like want to flip cards and get more into that space of the hobby, grading is a great opportunity.
Cool. And then one thing I actually thought was really cool, I ended up writing a piece on it for Philly Sports Network last year. Under Armour and PSA did a partnership last year for a limited edition Bryce Harper sneaker where they had kind of a card, or excuse me, his cleat.
What's PSA? Let me stop there.
It's like the most popular grading system for collectibles out there.
All right.
Yeah.
And
listen to Kyle. Kyle's schooling me, Kayla. I thought you were going to be the only one schooling me here in this conversation. Go ahead, Kyle. Sorry.
Let's go, Kyle.
Oh yeah. So but they released a limited edition cleat and turf shoe where they had a grade on the back, and then they took part of the shoe material and released limited edition cards that were highly graded and rare as well. Thought that was a really cool collab to do with such a big superstar, especially with the industry growing as quickly as it seems to be these last few years. What if you saw an opportunity for a collab, or if you were like, man, this would be a dream cool crossover thing, what would it be for you?
Ooh,
That's a good one.
that's a really, really good question. I honestly think so. Two different companies have done this. Bobby Witt Jr. and Corbin Carroll did it with PSA, and then Matt Strom, Philadelphia Philly, did it with CGC. But they had cards that they put in their pocket and during a game and signed them as game-used cards.
I forgot about that. That's so
Got
cool.
them authenticated by the two grading companies. Matt Strom actually wore his in the All-Star game in his back pocket. So kind of like a cool moment to have that. Those were displayed on in CGC at the National this past year. Corbin Carroll and Bobby Witt Jr.'s with PSA, I believe, are in their own collections and maybe a couple scarce ones out there. But I think that's really cool. And all three of those guys are hardcore collectors. And for me, going forward, I just personally like seeing athletes that are collecting because it makes it that much more fun as a collector to root for those guys and kind of see yourself in them as, yeah, they're just collectors like me and they're the people on these cards, but they're also like a nerd and enjoy doing this as well.
Kayla, great stuff, great information. Kayla.collects on Instagram, mandatory follow. She'll be running around. You'll notice her. You'll see her at the Philly show all weekend long, specifically on Friday. We'll be rocking out with her on air. She's featured on the Instagram page over at the Philly show as well. Do yourself a favor, phillyshow.com. Check it out online. However, if you are on IG as well, check out the Philly show and what they are putting out there as far as graphics are concerned, because it's going to tell you all you need to know. We're talking about both Super Bowl MVPs in the Philadelphia Eagles history. Nick Foles and Jalen Hurts both will be in attendance. We're talking over 30 Super Bowl 59 champions. And then that's not all, ladies and gentlemen. No, because we can't forget about the boys of summer. Yes, the Philadelphia Phillies. Chase Utley will be in attendance. Mike Schmidt, Chad Durbin. The list goes on and on. A little bit of a drop off there, with all due respect to Chad Durbin on that one. But still, I'm talking anybody and everybody from Philadelphia sports will be there, and then some. They have a bunch of icons in the building. You never know who's going to be representing at the Philly show. That's another part that is very cool, because you see a lot of surprises, including content creators running around. Last time I saw the great E-Rock, he joined us on air. So many more people local. So looking forward to rocking out all weekend long at the Philly show. Kayla, can't thank you enough. Once again, let the people know your number one piece of advice as we get closer here. It's a Wednesday. We get the party started in literally under 2 days at the Philly show. What are you telling the people?
Build in plenty of time to make sure you can have the best experience possible.
She's a great spokesperson. Oh, yeah, by the way,
I like it.
wear comfortable shoes, too. I did read that. I did read that.
Yes, that's another good one.
Kayla, I will see you on Friday. Can't thank you enough for popping up on here. And let's do it again after the show as well. You're very good on air.
Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Excellent stuff. There she is. Kayla collects on the Gambler Hotline. Kyle, nice questions by you too, man. All right.
Thanks, man. Yeah,
all right.
It's a fun industry. You know,
It is.
I was never a big collector.
I was.
But to see it kind of bounce back from, I feel
You
like
were
it dissipated
never a
when we were
collector,
younger,
even
so.
when you were younger.
No, baseball collecting was my brother was big into collecting the baseball cards. My dad actually knew somebody who worked at one of the warehouses. We have a few uncut sheets of baseball cards in my dad's house.
What year?
Probably the 80s. I don't know what year. Probably 85.
Do you know what
86, something
kind?
like
Or like what
company? I'd have to dig in. I'm sure if I text him, he would.
Yeah,
he would
because you
give me
never know
3
who's in
different
that
names, but
sheet.
Yeah, there's probably a few that
Could be like Upper Deck, and next thing you know, you got the not Cal Ripken, Billy Ripken with the F face on the handle.
Yeah, right.
It could be one of those.
That'd be
cards.
my inheritance right there.
Yeah, man. The collectible scene is really intriguing to me, because obviously it's new, but there are so many people that are just good at what they do.
Oh yeah.
And to me, the collectible space opens it up so much more for the content creators.
Agreed.
Right. And like, that's, I was telling my wife this the other day, like, I can literally sit on my phone, and people call it doom scrolling. That's fine. I don't refer to it as doom scrolling, because I don't stop on anything political. And then Instagram, right? If I'm on Twitter, that's doom scrolling.
Of course.
Instagram, it's more so like these videos, just the content creators are so good at what they do. The editing, the clips, the fast pace. It's so engaging. And like, I could sit there for an hour to close up shop at a night and just flipping through Instagram. And especially when you're in the content or the collectible game. With that being said, I thought it was very interesting what she brought up, where it was like, hey, I needed this one card. People knew me. And I put that out there and said, hey, I'm looking for this card. Somebody hit her up. And next thing you know, she was able to make a deal. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's cool. I've heard some horrible things about the especially the more geared ones, like you mentioned, the Pokemon cards, Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I've seen videos of people getting toxic with that, where these adults are just trying to go out there to get the card to resell it and taking it away from these kids who just want to be collectors, just want to have it on display in their house. But from what I've seen from the sports collectors specifically, it really does seem to be a welcoming environment, and it's a group that really looks out for each other. I see a lot of times where guys will go to shows with their collections, and a young kid who's trying to build themselves up either as an influencer, as a collector, and wants that big card that they can put pinned on their profile to jumpstart their stuff. You see a guy cutting deals with them or their dad, sometimes giving stuff away, just like she mentioned. So really cool to hear from her and get some insider perspective from someone who's going at it. And real quick, my brother texted me. He said it is Fleer cards.
Fleer
cards.
All right. Now, Fleer is a good brand. I don't think it's one of the brands that would be.
Yeah, it's not Tops. It's not.
Yeah, like Upper Deck and Tops are definitely 1A and 1B. Like Fleer and Don Russ, in my opinion, are in the same. Now, I could be mistaken. At the end of the day, it comes down to the name on the card. It comes down to the player.
Exactly.
So regardless of who it is, but it would be interesting to take a look at who is actually involved in that sheet. It's funny you did bring up and you're right. The Philly show, super friendly. Collectors that's set up like each lane by lane. It's in this huge warehouse, right, out in Oaks, PA. And they host so many things there yearly. And it's just row after row. I can't even, you know what? I'll have to get the numbers. I'll have it up for us on Friday. But it's literally like 30 rows of just people locked. And it's like you got one booth where it's old school pictures, right? Big, huge pictures. And these people travel. These people, they look at where the big shows are. Philadelphia is one. It's one of the big shows on the East Coast, specifically nationwide too. And you'll walk through and some people will have shoes where they're showing off old school Nintendo games. Like the nostalgia is through the roof, and everybody is super cool. Everybody's really like, even if you just want to stop by, they're not pestering you to buy something. Like you just like, they just want to talk. They want to interact. They're there. This is their livelihood. This is what not even livelihood. This is what they like to do on weekends. Travel to Philadelphia. Let me set up shop in the middle of Oaks, PA. Yeah. They want interaction. So that was really refreshing to me. It wasn't like, hey, I just wanted to talk to you and I got to buy this card. No, you can go and look at as many as you want. You can wheel and deal. And the other thing I would say is you brought up kids, right? This was crazy to me. And you said, what'd you say? You said that the kids just want to display it at their house, right? Bro, I met a kid who had like $100,000 worth of cards in his briefcase. It was like 25 cards.
What?
11 years old.
My goodness.
There are kids walking around that Philly show. And I mean this, right? Like they have these suitcases, these block suitcase. They're not suitcases big like that, but they're smaller. And they have probably 20, 40, 50 cards in there, and they're ready to wheel and deal. And these things are unbelievable when it comes to how much they're worth. Jeez. Like we had kids walking around houses in their briefcase, 11, 10, 9, 12 years old. They have the kids show. Matter of fact, they're doing it 2 times this year.
That's pretty
on
cool.
Friday night and Saturday. And the gentleman who runs the kids show, he was telling us all these stories about, like what he's seen over the years. These kids are smart, man. They're very smart and they're really good at what they do. Anyways, phillyshow.com. That's a hell of a plug for them. Can't thank those guys and gals enough, especially Christy at the top, because she has rolled out the red carpet for us as well. Powers and company will be there all weekend. I'll be broadcasting live on Friday. Can't wait for it. All right. Anything else in the world of collectibles you want to get to?
No, okay. Not for me. Not for me.
I would say that if I was collecting right now, I would be all about Jalen Hurts.
That's a good one.
You know why? Because as we brought up earlier today, the window is open. And I threw it out there as just a joke. But when you do think about the great teams, the New England Patriots that won plenty of Super Bowls, the Kansas City Chiefs that have been playing in Super Bowls, the Dallas Cowboys when they went on their run, like even the Buffalo Bills who never got over the hump, but were able to reach 4 straight. like, you know darn well that these guys believed in what they were able to do, and some of them obtained their goal and got to the promised land, got to the top of the mountain and won a Super Bowl and then won another one. And here we are, the Eagles, since 2017, been in 3. It's just like, wait a minute. And as you pointed out too, with this current regime, it's not about dreaming big right now, Kyle. It's about being realistic with the expectations. And I can't sit here again. I'm definitely, putting this out there loud. I think I would be more in your world as far as, let's have a great regular season, get me to an NFC Championship game, get me to a Super Bowl, and there's only so much you can complain about, right?
Yeah.
Coming up short in an NFC Championship game, that's not good enough, because we saw that with Andy Reid. That's not good enough. If you lose in a Super Bowl, that's a tough pill to swallow. But again, it's hard to complain when you win the conference and you have that extra week and everything is built up around you. There's only 2 teams. So, but where we're at right now, this team very well could win the next 2 Super Bowls. And I have no issue saying that out loud. I guess that's long-winded, but that's where I stand at this point in time. And dare I say, I'd be disappointed if they don't get one out of the next 2.
Disappointed if they don't win one of the next 2?
Correct.
Well, I mean, look, when you live in a world that we just saw two different franchises do it, why not us?
Correct.
Right? It's easy to think that they've been so good about building this team. Like you said, longevity built in this team. It's not just a bunch of one-year deals like it was in 2017. You lost so many guys that next year, and you saw what happened to that squad.
Drafting well year after year after
developing
year.
well.
Yep.
Like, that's the thing about some of this depth that they're adding. It's youth, right? As your veterans who have been there for years, they talk about how good that offensive line has been. Well, when you draft another offensive line, instead of trading all your picks for a Myles Garrett, you have the opportunity to develop the next generation. Even if a guy's taken in the 4th round, if you give him a chance to develop and get used to the speed and the strength needed at the next level, now you have the next guy after Lane Johnson retires. You have the next guy if Dickerson gets hurt again. Like, it's you set yourself up for the future, and you can see the seeds have been planted and they're starting to grow in that direction. So I see why people would say that, and I'll never poo-poo somebody who's really excited and can say, look, I'd be disappointed if they don't get another one. I think it's my previous torture in the fan base.
It's fair.
It's going to prevent me from saying that. I'm always like, I'll just be happy if they make it.
It's fair. Look, the 76ers beat me down over the years to the point that I have looked at regular season in a different light. And a lot had to do with the 2 years ago too, as well, from the Eagles perspective, because that was my favorite season ever, if I'm honest with you. And they didn't win the Super Bowl. They lost a tough one to Kansas City. But that regular season, that run, that playoffs, like being at the home games, being involved, being out there, being live on the radio station here in the Gambler, that was my favorite season ever. And they didn't win a damn thing. They didn't win the championship. So I kind of like look at the regular season a little bit differently. But right here, right now, obviously it's only March 5th. Injuries we don't have to worry about because they're not playing any games. Yeah, this team needs to win another one, if not 2. I have no issue saying that out loud. All right. And you know what? As you look around the other Philadelphia sports, 12-0 Detroit over the Phillies right now down in Florida. Nobody cares. It's spring training. But still,
scores don't matter down
Still though. Like, we got to take what we got right now in the Eagles. Kyle Fisher hanging out with us full show here. We got a lot to get to. Ryan Beef Coyle is going to join us in the 5 o'clock hour. We'll talk some college hoops. Speaking of the Phillies, do a great job covering them. You mix it up. You're a guy that does a little of everything. Phillies report. What's the one thing that's standing out to you so far through a couple games down there in Florida? From what I understand, we're going to have a change in the lineup as far as the batting order is concerned. They were talking about an MLB network this morning. They were broadcasting live from Clearwater down there as well. Want to get your thoughts on that. And also, you've heard what Luke had to say. He does a great job covering the Phillies for us here in crossingbroad.com. So curious to know from what you were able to pick up from him when he was on with me on Monday, if anything you wanted to bring up there in the Phillies report in the next hour. Also, though, we will continue talking about the Eagles, but I do want to mix this in. What we are witnessing right now, and the emphasis on witnessing there, because LeBron James is out of this world at what he's able to do in the NBA at the age of 40. It's
never seen anything like it.
Incredible. So the question I have, we all know how great LeBron is, but this is insane to even be asking this out loud. And they did it this morning on Get Up, so I'm going to steal the question. Greeny pinned down Monica McNutt, and I think she's phenomenal. She's really good at what she does. And Greeny's one of the best. It pains me to say that. And I don't mean that literally. I mean that, hypothetically. He said, exactly. With that, if you were to pick one player right now to have during this upcoming NBA playoff run, one player, you got your wide open draft. You could take any player to have for the upcoming playoffs for your franchise to lead your team throughout the course of the playoffs. Who's the number one player? Who's your first pick? And how many picks until you get to a 40-year-old LeBron James? That's the question. So we're going to put our GM hats on. All right. And we'll hit that in the next hour as well. The Gambler Gang got into this conversation. This is good. There's a few names that we're all going to, of course, pick at immediately. But it is intriguing to hear. We are absolutely discussing / debating whether or not LeBron James would be a top 2, top 3 pick if you were able to draft right here, right now. That is insane. It's incredible what he's doing right now. We'll talk a little bit more. I have some stuff written down. I got some good notes about LeBron James and what he's able to do. Oh, by the way, also, when we talk about 40-year-old players and doing it at the professional level, yeah, it starts and ends with Tom Brady. We'll revisit him and what he was able to do at 40 plus. It's insane to go in and think about those numbers. Big Papi played when he was 40. I didn't remember that.
He hung around that long.
David Ortiz, and he played.
I knew he
his
got
ass
into his
off.
late 30s. I think I didn't.
When he turned 40,
realize.
he was like, he led the league in doubles, and I think he finished 6th in AL MVP voting.
Wow.
It's crazy. Yeah. All right, we'll talk about the old men on the other side. Kyle Fisher hanging out with us, full show. Don't go anywhere. More after this.
Looking to elevate your golf game? Welcome to Penn Club on 2nd in the heart of Conshohocken. With over 350 courses to choose from, 3 state-of-the-art simulator bays powered by TrackMan technology, and a members-only clubhouse open 7 days a week. We're all about the ultimate golfing experience. Enjoy the perks of a family-owned club with affordable membership options for individuals, teams, and even corporate groups. Conveniently located near major highways, you can bring your own beverages and enjoy top-notch food at restaurants nearby. Visit pc2conchi.com to find your membership today.
Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. Now, total traffic for Philadelphia.
Action on the Vine Expressway both ways. Schuylkill 95 northbound jam. Vine Expressway to Bridge. Southbound calling Cotman to Bridge. And Bartram to the Blue Route. Schuylkill eastbound bumper to bumper. Boulevard to South. Westbound Jan University Teacher Warden. Boulevard to Belmont. All right, to tell a total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Business owners can now keep in touch with up to 200 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
Hey, Sean Brace here. Now, do you own or manage a business here in Philadelphia? Are you unsure where to start when it comes to advertising? Well, here's a surprise. Fox Sports The Gambler, your local iHeart station, is the one place you can get it all. From radio and podcast ads to social media and digital. And we can get local voices like mine spreading the word about your business. So if you're looking for someone to take care of all of your ad needs, no matter your budget, call 844-844-iHeart. That's 844-844-iHeart today.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go, shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Explore the mysteries of rural America in the investigative podcast Obscurum. Season 1, Invasion of the Drones, details the story of chilling aircraft sightings in the Midwest, sparking conspiracy theories and lies until the shocking truth was revealed.
There was a drone, then it actually rotated around our house, almost looking as if it was peering in each window of our home.
Listen on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Obscurum and start listening.
Spring is in the air, and it's time to swing for the fences. Our MLB coverage is bringing heat all season long.
Everybody moves up 90 feet.
Be sure to catch Luke Arcaney and Sean Brace on the Daily Ticket. Only one place that covers all the action. It's The Gambler. #1 on your car radio preset and the new and improved iHeartRadio app. WDAS and WD273D Philadelphia is Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler.
And there's a swing and a miss. Phillies 12-0 losing to the Detroit Tigers down in, actually it's in Detroit, so I don't know where they play, but you ever been to Clearwater?
I'm actually going there this weekend.
Look at you. You got something on your eye right there in your corner. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. I helped out a friend the other day. She had some stuff on her lip, and I said, "Yo, you got some stuff on your lip?" And she was like, "Yeah, it's a cold sore medicine." And I said, "Oh, my bad." And she goes, No, at least I know you're one of those friends that will tell me I got something on my lip." And I said,
right.
Thank you. No,
I always appreciate it.
I'll tell you straight up. Yeah, you're going later this month?
I'm going Friday morning, going
Look
down
at
for a bachelor
you.
party. So not covering it, not in a professional manner, but going down for a bachelor party. My best friend is getting married finally, so whole big group of us going down there.
Finally.
Yeah, well, he's one of the last ones. That's the reason I say finally.
Good
for him.
Hang
He found
on.
the right one. That's the thing that
There you
matters.
go. Yes, that is the thing.
He didn't rush with some of his exes. He waited for the right one, and
that is the only
everybody
thing
loves
that
it,
matters. Is
Shout out
finding
to
the right
Evan.
one. There you go. Yes. Clearwater is fantastic. Great time. So what do you got as far as games? You got one Phillies game?
Yeah, so we have a game for Sunday, and we had golf planned Saturday.
Yeah,
but
nice.
they're calling for storms on Sunday,
Come
and
on.
if he had to pick one of golf or the game, he'd rather go to the game. So I'm going to call the group
Smart
sales
man.
guy I talked to see if we can switch to Saturday.
Smart man.
Gotta do that.
Frenchie's is the
tomorrow.
best.
That's what I hear.
Frenchie's is the best. It is the best. And from what I understand, nobody has that in spring training. It's literally like Phillies have the best party zone.
Sweet.
Like they will have post concerts, acoustic jams out there in the corner.
There you go.
And people hang out in the ballpark well after the game is over.
Nice.
Sometimes, most of the time, majority of the time, you'll see a bunch of people from the Phillies front office coming down, hanging out, and great people representing that organization over the years. So enjoy that, man, and good luck to Evan and his lovely lady. Let's put it that way. All right. Speaking of baseball, I'm going to do fantasy draft again, fantasy baseball again this year. Is like, what, thinking back on last year, what the hell was I thinking not drafting Shohei Ohtani #1 overall?
You had the #1 pick.
I think I had two. I went Julio Rodriguez.
So obviously he wasn't going to pitch last year, but he's separate in fantasy anyway. Yeah, I mean
it's not even a question this year. It's Shohei, correct?
100%. Yeah, I'm taking him offensively, and I might swing around in the second round and take him as a pitcher too. I mean, the guy's a freak. Now I would see him probably being a little less on the
Is that how it
steals
works?
this
This is
season.
only my second year doing fantasy baseball.
Yeah, so anybody who can do both. I think the only other person I've ever seen listed twice was Michael Lorenzen when he was like frequently a pinch hitter for the Reds a few years back.
Okay.
But you draft them separately and then you install them in your lineup twice. Essentially, you're like, I could have the pitcher version, you could have the hitter version.
Huh.
I mean, we're both getting points from Shohei. So I think that he's likely to be a top 3 pick still. I think he really let it loose steals wise this season because he didn't have to worry so much about maintaining his body for the pitching side. He knew that he wasn't going to pitch all season. So yeah, he was on a throwing program, but you may see the steals take a step back, but you're still going to see 40 to 50 homers, 40 to 50 doubles, high average, high on base percentage. So it depends if you're a points league that gives extra for steals, maybe he's not your top guy. But if he's not on your board as 1, 2, or 3, then you might need to call somebody or buy a magazine or something.
That's funny. You better call somebody. Yeah, the ESPN mock draft I'm looking at right now. Shohei 1, Soto 2 with the Mets.
I don't know. I don't know about him from a fantasy perspective there. I think he's probably going to take a step back home run wise. He doesn't have Aaron Judge behind him.
Especially that ballpark.
He doesn't have the short porch in as he did in New York. Now, I didn't look at his splits to see how many he hit at home versus on the road. So
Sure.
maybe it's just he's still a developing young man despite being in the league for like 10 years already or 8 years, whatever it is. But high on base percentage. So if you're going categories, I'd say he's definitely a guy. He's going to give you good average, good power. He walks a ton, doesn't strike out a lot. If you're doing points, maybe he falls a little bit, but he's going to be in the top. He's going to be your top 5 pick, no matter who you are or what your strategy is.
Are you big in fantasy baseball?
Yeah, I've played in one league. It's a categories league. It's 19 categories, very competitive.
The hell does that mean?
So your standard categories, it's like 5 pitching categories, 5 offensive categories, usually like average, walks, strikeouts, home runs, RBIs, or you might do doubles instead of strikeouts. And then you have like your wins, your whip, ERA,
whip.
strikeouts,
Big
and,
whip
and
guy.
walks.
Big whip guy. Whip and war.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're probably wars. You could explain that.
Joking.
Yeah,
but yeah,
course,
that's
I
all right.
know.
War. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Hey!
But yeah, we expanded to 19 categories total that you're tracking.
Oh, you
So
guys are freaks.
Yeah.
How long you been in this league?
Since junior year of college.
Wow.
So that's 2010.
Okay. Nice.
15
Very cool.
years.
Yeah. My one big football league that I'm in, it's with Main Street folks from Manayunk, and we've been doing it just as long. So that's like my one that I've yet to win.
Shout out to Mania.
There you go. Exactly. All right. So first pitcher, real quick. First pitcher off the board for you, fantasy.
Oh boy. You have to be talking. Zach Wheeler's probably in the conversation.
Okay. Skeens
is a guy who you have to consider.
How am I passing Skeens? Who am I passing Skeens for to take number 1 overall? I don't want to make this a little bit simplistic if it's not, but to me, that dude is just look out this year.
Oh yeah. I mean, you're looking at Skubal,
Look out.
Who was just getting interviewed during the Phillies game a few minutes ago.
Who's
Skeens,
nasty?
Wheeler, Crochet. Those are probably your top 4 guys. I would take one of the first 3. Skeens you're not wrong for picking him first. That's the way I would look at it. Like if you want to go starting pitching early and you want to snag that guy because you think another year under his belt, he's showed that he could be healthy. He looks so nasty. He's worked on additional pitches in the offseason as a young kid.
Did you
who
see?
Could barely get hit.
Did you see that pitching ninja video the other day?
Insane.
Like you can't tell the difference on those pitches. You can't hit that pitch.
It's halfway there, and you're like, that looks exactly like every other pitch he threw, and then it breaks 15 inches to the right, and you're looking like Nick Castellanos swinging at a breaking ball.
Exactly.
It's pretty rough. But I think that those 3 guys, probably Skubal, Skeens, and Wheeler, are going to be. You can't go wrong with any of them.
All right, Kyle Fisher in studio with us, having some fun. Get involved in the conversation at Fox PHL Gambler. Love to hear your thoughts. We're talking a little MLB because, it's here. And I got the baseball Oregon sound drops, so I want to use them as much as possible over the next few weeks. Yeah, exactly. All right, let's get on over to the NBA. And last night, LeBron James made history. If you did not happen to catch that, let me go ahead and give it to you right here because LeBron James, he broke the record last year from Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I believe that was last year, the all-time scoring leader in NBA history from the points standpoint. And he continues to make history last night, dropping his 50th point in NBA history. And this is how it sounded, courtesy of the LA Lakers radio network.
LeBron, open 3. 22 seasons, 40 years of age. LeBron James, 50,002 points. Crowd is still buzzing after LeBron made a routine three-pointer to go over the 50,000 mark.
What's up?
It was 2 years ago that he passed.
It just runs. Everything runs together these days. Like it feels like that just happened. Oh, that was 2 years ago. The pandemic was 5 years ago this week.
That's wild, by the way.
We shut everything down 5 years ago this week.
If you told me that LeBron had been in LA for 2 seasons, I'd believe you. If you told me he's been there for 8 seasons, I'd believe you.
It's great, yeah.
Time has just blended together since the pandemic.
So here, one of the big things, of course, he scores all those points. He's number one, and I never thought that Kareem record was going to get broke, first off. But, of course, as LeBron continues to play and he's playing at that high level, quickly you started to see like, oh yeah, there it is. I saw Stephen A. Smith today on First Take say that the conversation about LeBron and Jordan, it's got to come to an end. Well, Stephen A. says so, then we must oblige. And his big point was like, it can no longer be debated that LeBron playing at this level this late in his career. Like if we're talking about longevity, he is better than Jordan. And like, there's no argument to that. I'm the biggest Jordan guy, but you just look at the numbers, the stats, the bare bones, and what LeBron is doing right here, right now. I agree with you, Stephen. The conversation, you look foolish if you try to take MJ's career over what LeBron is doing from the standpoint of longevity. Championships could be included. That's fine. But like, let's not, poo-poo LeBron because he came up short in a few of those finals. I know people tend to do that, but it was death, taxes, and LeBron James in an NBA finals for what, 9 years?
10
years?
10 years in a row the guy was in the NBA finals.
Exactly. So it's like, all right, yeah, he only won 4. I get it, but still, like, let's put things in proper perspective. With that being said, though, Kyle, if the Lakers continue to do what they're doing right now, I think they're 7-2 with Luka out there. They have now won 13 out of their last 15. And the odds continue to improve as far as winning the Western Conference, as far as winning the NBA Finals, all of that. Like, let's just paint this picture. And this is why I'm going to say what I'm going to say. If he is able to get this team to an NBA championship and win it this year, I think it definitely opens up the conversation for everything. For everything. And I'm about as big as it gets for Michael Jordan. And all I'm going to say is just picture this run. He makes the move. They make the move. In mid-season, you bring in Luka, who's unbelievable. We understand how good Luka is. But that NBA playoff run could feature, starting out, Golden State Warriors. Second round, Denver Nuggets. Third round, Western Conference Finals, Oklahoma City Thunder. Like, we have to be realistic here and say, if the future holds LeBron James defeating those 3 teams, getting to an NBA Finals, and beating the Boston Celtics or the Cleveland Cavaliers, dude, that might be one of the greatest runs, if not the greatest run of all time, to win a Finals. That's insane. What these guys are doing this day and age, it blows my mind. Best athletes in the NBA, and LeBron James front and center. Look at what he's doing in the fourth quarter. Look at what he's doing when it comes to clutch time. He deserves to be in the MVP conversation. And now I get it, Luka, you add him to the mix, and that's only going to make life easier. But still, just to change that up in the middle of the season, and it's like all systems go. I'm just so blown away and impressed by what the King is doing. And I don't know, should we be? This is all he's been, is great his whole career.
Yeah. He's a guy who, I mean, I was younger when he first broke into the league, but I was around the time where I started to decide for myself, like, I'm going to stop hating greatness while it's right in front of me, right? When I grew up, I hated Chipper Jones. Well, it was mostly just because the Braves destroyed us every single
Larry.
Yeah, I hated Greg Maddux because he tore my team apart. I hated Derek Jeter because they won all the time, right? And I decided to start appreciating greatness, so I got to watch him with a different lens his entire career, and here I am as a grown man thinking he probably would have retired a few years ago, and the guy just keeps doing it. I mean, he decided at an early age that he was going to invest in his body before anything else, right? He got big money, and yeah, of course, he took care of his family and did what he had to do, and then early on in his career decided, I'm going to make sure this thing lasts as long as it possibly can, and you see the fruits of that labor, right? If you make that decision early enough, especially with how far technology has come when it comes to health, nutrition, taking care of yourself. The guy has invested like $10 million in a private chef and a cryo chamber in his home. Like, it's insane what this guy does to take care of himself, but look at what the result is. Like, if Michael Jordan did that instead of gambling and smoking cigars all the time, and he was still incredible.
I know.
We're
right,
parsing
though.
hairs here.
Yeah.
I'm not saying
You're
that
not
one guy's
wrong.
good to disparage the other, but imagine what we would say about him if that Wizards season, although statistically pretty good, looked like this LeBron season does now, right? And if he didn't feel like he had to retire because his body was breaking a little bit, if he played straight through, this wouldn't be a conversation. And it's mostly because he didn't have the foresight or the technology or the advancements in nutrition that LeBron does now. So LeBron is a creature of having the foresight to take care of himself, and seeing and learning from the mistakes of the prior generation, the prior heroes. To me, the conversation, and again, we're parsing hairs, but the conversation's been over for me for a long time. I would have considered LeBron 1A, Jordan 1B a few years ago. And maybe it's because you're a little older than me. I was very young watching those finals with Jordan. So I got to witness all of LeBron, whereas I just heard the stories of Jordan. But when you get to 4 titles and going to 10 straight, my argument's always been like, people want to talk about how many he lost, but they fail to mention all the times that Jordan lost in the first round, which LeBron's never done. He lost in the first round before Scottie Pippen showed up.
Sure.
So everybody wants to talk about, he has to go with Kyrie. He's got to go here. He's got to go get Anthony Davis. Well, Jordan, the greatest of all time.
Great team.
He needed it too.
Great team.
And then to do it again, they needed to go get Rodman.
Yeah, Rodman was a huge piece of the puzzle. Yeah, absolutely.
So nobody does it on their own. You're talking about 2 different sides of the same coin. They're both incredible in different ways, but seeing the longevity and what he's doing today at 40 years old, no one has ever done something like this in the NBA. I think that if you weren't a super fan like me and decided a few years ago that he was your one, I think you have to be thinking that now.
LeBron James, he continues to redefine what's possible for somebody of that caliber at 40 years old. When you think about most players at this age, they're either retired or maybe coming off of the bench. As I said, LeBron is one of the best in the game. How great is he in today's game? We're going to talk about that. But he's putting up all NBA numbers. He should be a first team, at bare minimum, second team. The athleticism hasn't vanished, right? Everything is still right there in front of you. Defensively, he's playing better than most seasons that I can remember. The IQ is as sharp as it gets. It seems like he's enjoying it still more than ever. Of course, when you add Luka to the equation, it's a whole different ball game as well. I would imagine it's got to be pretty fun to add a top 5 player in the history of the game as far as scoring is concerned. Just look at the numbers there. But he's not losing a step.
No.
And what's crazy, Kyle, is this. In 2012, 2013, he won the MVP. That's the last time that LeBron James has won the MVP, which is a shame because he can win it every year.
Yeah.
He averaged 26.8 points per game that year. Since turning 40, he is averaging 26.4. He just turned 40 in December. He's averaging 26.4. Rebounds per game. He averaged 8 rebounds per game his MVP season. Right now, he's averaging more, 8.2. Assists per game. In 2012, 2013, he averaged 7.3. Right now, he's averaging 8.1. Dude, it's not real what he's doing.
Like, when people talk about video game numbers, that is some video game stuff. Like, hey, I simmed and LeBron never retired and he's still the MVP of the league. Like,
and the biggest thing for me, and I continue to bang this drum, and I'm sure a lot of people out there would agree, the athleticism is through the roof in the NBA. These are the freakest athletes. These are the best athletes this world has to offer on the NBA stage. There's no doubt about it in my mind. And he continues to be so impressive at that level of competition in today's NBA. Now more than ever, it's faster, more skilled, deeper. And he continues to outplay players that are literally 15, 20 years younger than him, right? You brought up the conditioning as far as with the chef. He plays it as better than anybody. I mean this. Look at the numbers in clutch moments in fourth quarter. Look what he does in the fourth quarter of these games. And we know this better than most here in Philadelphia. With all love and respect to Joel Embiid, That's when, you get tired legs in the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron James is not 180 pounds. He's not skinny. No, that's a big, big human being.
Yeah.
And he consistently delivers. And again, it's just a matter of when you heard LeBron James is going to play into his 40s plus, right? And, I want to play with my son. There were plenty of detractors out there, plenty of people that maybe were even in LeBron James's corner going, man, he just wants to hang on and, play.
For sure.
That's not what this is. This isn't hanging on. This isn't hanging on. And finally, I will say this, and I'm just ranting here, but it feels like we need to appreciate this.
It needs to be a bigger deal.
It needs to be a bigger deal because guess what? He's going to retire soon. And this guy who we've been able to watch for these last 2 decades play at this level will be no more. And I don't know if we're ever going to see somebody like LeBron James ever again.
You can never assume that. I mean, that's how impressive this guy is, that you can never assume that you're going to see something like this again. Appreciate it while he's still around. If the Lakers are coming to your town, go buy tickets, go see them, go take your kids so they can say, I saw
Just
LeBron James
don't wear
live.
Lakers gear, though.
That's fine. I have a LeBron Cavs jersey from back in the day, from the first time around.
Me too.
So I'll throw that one on.
I have a jersey. LeBron James
I got
jersey.
the white jersey.
I used to love LeBron when he came out too, loved him, right? Everything about him. And then the Witness was a huge deal. I loved the Witness. I used to have like a bedazzled Nike shirt that said Witness across the front, right?
Nice.
It was all bedazzled. It was Nike. It was a nice shirt. Then it got faded. True story, though. I bought the jersey when he went to the Heat.
Okay.
And I go, all right, you know what? I'm supporting my guy. And I couldn't wear it. I just immediately turned off on him. Like, I liked the fact that he was a villain. I did. I could not get down with the whole Miami Heat process. Watched them, tuned in every night. Didn't matter who they were playing. Enjoyed the runs. But, man, was rooting against LeBron James in those days. I won't lie to you about that.
Oh, man. But it's crazy to see that this guy is doing something that no one has ever done before. He broke an unbreakable record and keeps adding to it. Remember what the story was early in his career?
Clutch.
Pass first guy.
Yeah, clutch.
Can't shoot.
Yeah, clutch.
Can't shoot in the clutch.
Yeah, clutch, yeah.
What's he's doing at age 40?
He's just dominating.
Still passing first, but one of the top scorers in the league and is coming up clutch every single year.
Yeah.
To come in with as much hype as he did and then to develop his game even further than we thought imaginable has just been so much fun to watch. And yeah, he went through his villain era with the Heat and whatever, and he came back and gave Cleveland the championship and then goes to the second act of his career.
Yep.
And then after a couple years of what we thought were going to be down years is doing what he's doing now at 40 years old. I remember Vince Carter at either 38, 39, 40 years old. He stopped dunking. And I remember during an interview, they said, what is it about, because you can still jump, still take jump shots, you're still a valuable player off the bench. What is it about dunking? He's like, well, you see, the thing is the jumping isn't what bothers me. He's like, I still have quick twitch. I still have athleticism. Jumping isn't it's the landing. That hurts. He's like, funny. Landing really hurts. And to see LeBron it doesn't faze him.
No.
He's the same guy he was 5 years ago. It's insane to watch. And I hope that if you've been a hater your whole life, you still got time to appreciate him before he retires.
Yeah, the hating nonsense I never got down with. Is LeBron perfect? No, I don't know anybody that is. Does he do dumb things? Does he do some things that are look at me, of course. But this is a guy that came up in the golden era of look at me, and he's done plenty of good. Think about the school that he started, foundation, good family man.
Oh, yeah.
There for his kids. I hope one day that I could help my daughter out some way, somehow. And you bet your ass I would. Like Adam Schefter, what he does with his daughter.
Yeah.
It's like, if I could do that for my daughter, of course I would do. You would do it for your kids. Anybody would do it for their kids. I hope they would. So I know there's different levels to that when it comes to, of course, getting your kid drafted by the LA Lakers. But at the end of the day, it's not the first time a team drafted somebody specifically because of a family member. Look at Mike Piazza. He was drafted because Tommy Lasorda.
Yeah.
Late in the,
a favor.
Yeah, correct. Exactly. So it's happened before. Didn't think that was going to come out there on the show today. A little random.
I did not have Mike Piazza draft stock on my bingo card for today.
I love it. All right. Hey, look, long-winded. We went a little long there, but other side, we're going to answer the question. I want to get you involved out there, people. If you're drafting one player for the NBA playoffs right here, right now, upcoming NBA playoffs for the playoff run for your team, who are you selecting first? And with that being said, when do you get to LeBron James? Kyle Fisher hanging with us, full show. We got Ryan Beef Coyle. We're going to get on over some college hoops. We hopped on the show last night, college hoops catch-up show. And Beef had some technical difficulties as far as connecting, and it was all over the place. It was late, too. I wasn't my sharpest, so I want to run it back. I want to run it back live here, and definitely want to bring it back because last night, your boy over here called me.
Oh, I was going to say.
Number one going down. Bang, bang.
Okay.
I called the upset, 4.5 plus 165 right here on the Daily Ticket yesterday. So I'm not a big look at me type of guy, Kyle. If you've known me for over the years, I'm definitely not one of those guys. But yeah, look at me calling that upset last night. We'll have Ryan Beef Coyle coming up at 5 o'clock more after this.
Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. Now, total traffic for Philadelphia.
It's an extra slow ride home in the rain this afternoon. We've got a crash in Delaware, 495 at 13. The left lane's blocked in both directions. Traffic crawling there. The Vine Expressway packed both ways. Schuylkill 95 on the westbound side. There's a disabled vehicle in the left lane just past Broad Street. Schuylkill westbound, that's Jan Vere to Girard and Boulevard to Belmont. Eastbound, stop and go 202 to Belmont and Boulevard to South. 95 northbound, Jan State Line, the Commodore Barry, and Vine Expressway up to Bridge. To tell it, total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Perfect for instant contact with an aging parent. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get an extra 60% off, free UPS shipping, and add code radio for an extra 5% off.
Attention! If you owe money to the IRS, this is an urgent message. The IRS is cracking down by sending out collection letters, garnishing paychecks, seizing bank accounts, and putting liens on homes and businesses. They call it enforced compliance. And you better watch out because penalties and interest on unpaid taxes compound daily, making it even harder to get out of debt. Don't let tax debt destroy your life. You need to call Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax resolution firm. They're experts in taxpayer assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, Optima's resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. Let them fight on your behalf, helping to put your tax problems to rest. Call the tax professionals at Optima now for a free consultation.
Call 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840. 800-354-2840.
Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Hey, Sean Brace here. Now, do you own or manage a business here in Philadelphia? Are you unsure where to start when it comes to advertising? Well, here's a surprise. Fox Sports The Gambler, your local iHeart station, is the one place you can get it all. From radio and podcast ads to social media and digital. And we can get local voices like mine spreading the word about your business. So if you're looking for someone to take care of all of your ad needs, no matter your budget, call 844-844-iHeart. That's 844-844-iHeart today.
It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now, all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin. And over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
At Rocket, we believe everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. So if you're feeling locked out of home ownership, we're here to give you back the keys. We're opening doors, breaking down walls, and doing everything we can to turn renters into owners. And we're not going to stop until we help everyone home. To find out more, visit rocket.com. Rocket, own the dream.
Hey, man, you all right? Need me to call 911? No, call Top Dog Law. Get top dollar for your accident at topdoglaw.com. Once again, that's topdoglaw.com. Hey now. You know, Kyle's in with us here. Kyle Fisher hanging with us full show. We got Ryan Beef Coyle coming up 5 o'clock hour. One of my favorite things from the weekend, and I know it's Wednesday, was the Florio, Chris Sims, and Andy Reid conversation at the Combine. Did you see that? Where they talked about, well, before it was 24-0, it was 0-0, and it could have went either way.
Okay. Sure.
My favorite thing is to just play this soundbite because the game was over when Bradley Cooper grabbed the mic.
All right, from the city of brotherly love, your 2024 NFC champions, the EAGLES.
Now, you were there, Kyle. You were
Yes,
there.
sir.
Was that the point where you said, hey, man, we are not losing this game, number one and number two? Was this game ever close?
No, I mean, it didn't feel like after that second interception, I remember looking at the people in my row who were all Eagles fans and thinking like, are we
real?
comfortable?
Yeah.
Are we good? Not that it's over, but like, I feel pretty good. I'm not, all the worry that you have going into a big game like that was almost gone. And then when you get to halftime, I was like, I can't believe I'm going to enjoy the hell out of this halftime
Was it
show.
17-0 when DeJean returned that?
I thought he made it 17-0.
Yeah, 17-0 on that interception. That was when it was over. Like, that's when I jumped up and like I was going nuts in my house. I'm like, they are winning the Super Bowl right then and there. 17-0. I'm like, that's too much. They're not winning. They're not losing this game.
Yeah, you felt that murmur across the crowd. Again, I've been tortured fan base.
Yeah, you
I was
are.
just like, well, we gotta wait and
change that
see.
in
We
you.
gotta wait and see. But at halftime, I remember looking at my brother and going like, we're good, right? I mean, just want to go get some beers. Like, we can celebrate now. Let's do it.
How much were beers at the Super Bowl?
Not that crazy.
Come on.
Not that crazy. I want to say it was like $12.50 for a tall boy.
Yeah.
And it was an IPA, so you're getting a little bit bang for your buck.
Look at New Orleans doing it right.
Yeah, it didn't seem like they bumped the prices for a premium event. Like, that's about what you're going to pay at the Link for regular season.
Sure.
But whenever there's a concert there, they always jack everything up. So I assume the same. That was about $12.50 for a tall boy. Food was reasonably priced for a stadium, and again, assuming it was going to be much higher, it ended up being pretty good.
When did you leave?
Oh, we waited waited until the trophy presentation was done. I was trying to get Breland Moore and Devin Caney's attention down on the field, waving to them just because I saw them down there. So,
Nice.
Didn't end up running into them, but yeah, we stayed for a while. And then we just wanted to see what it was like on Bourbon Street, but I think people were kind of
tapped out,
partied out already.
Yeah.
They were like, dude, we've been partying all day. We've been celebrating for 3 hours.
So it was
This game's
kind of
been over.
dead.
So
It was kind of like
it wasn't
lull.
as insane as I thought it was going to be. It felt like any other night on Bourbon Street, as opposed to like extra excitement, people climbing telephone poles and Eagles chants everywhere you go. It was more.
So the build-up
calm.
was better than the post game.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, anytime you walked by a bar that had its doors open, they were playing some sort of Philly music. So either Blow the Whistle or Dreams and Nightmares was going nuts.
Come
We
on.
hear people going nuts in there, but it wasn't spilling out into the streets like I thought it was. But again, it's just because I think people were like, we've been doing this all day. We thought they were going to, we knew at halftime it was over. So, yeah, I mean, just incredible experience to do that with my brother was especially special in my mind. So, I'm sure my wife, if I ever get an opportunity to go again, she'll be like, you had your brother moment. It's
great.
my turn.
That's
So.
great. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Tell me about that. All right, let's keep it moving here. We got Kyle Fisher. Be sure to give him a follow on all things socials, specifically on the Great X Machine at Kyle Fisher 45. Make sure you support the crew over at the Philly Sports Network as well, Philadelphia SN. Great follow, great people over there doing awesome work in all things Philadelphia sports. Let's go ahead and get back to that question about LeBron James. And just as far as the NBA, and this was something that was being discussed this morning, and I just was like, that hit me. It hit me a certain type of way. If you were to draft one player right now, present day in the NBA, that can help you during this playoff run, that doesn't mean you're building a franchise. That doesn't mean next year. That doesn't mean, 5 years down the road. No, it's like this year, this playoff run. Who's the first player that you are drafting when it comes to building a team for this year's playoff run? Kyle Fisher on the clock. Does the NBA use that?
I don't think so. Do they have a different noise?
No, I think they do.
You think the same one?
I think it's the same one.
We'll find out. We'll find out this year.
That's
I'll hold
true.
you to it.
Yeah,
I'm writing it down.
That's true. We're paying attention.
I'm just buying time to make my decision here. No, I'd probably go Jokic. I mean,
go Joker.
Yeah, I think that he's so good on both ends. He is a guy who can score at will. He's a guy who, great court vision, great IQ. He can stop one of the best players on the defensive end while being your best player on the offensive end. Not that there's other guys who aren't like that, but you get everything at a high level from him. And I just love the fact that he seems to not even like basketball. Like he's the only guy I see in the league who treats it like a job. He's like, oh God, got to do this again. Meanwhile, goes out and effortlessly drops 35 and 12 assists. He's probably the guy I'm going with. And we've seen him get to that mountaintop before. You could easily go with a couple other guys. I don't want to take anybody, whoever your pick's going to be, and mention them now, but I'm going Joker.
All right. First of all, when you pull up last year's numbers from the NBA playoffs points per game, do you know who leads the charge last year in 6 games played? 33 points per game. The big man, Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid led playoffs last year for points per game. Everybody included Brunson, Dame, Shea, Maxey, Mitchell, Luka, Joker, Anthony Davis, LeBron, Edwards. 33 points per game in 6 games. And wasn't he hurt? He came back from the injury. It's he was never 100%.
Was the Bell's palsy in the playoffs?
The Bell's palsy.
Yeah, half his face didn't work right, and the dude was dropping 33 a game.
Unbelievable.
And there's still people out there who will not give that guy his flowers, not give him credit, say he's soft or doesn't put himself on the line.
Ever.
The guy has battled through so freaking much.
Yep.
In this city. You knew there was a risk of him going down this road when he got drafted. Big men, built like he is, with feet and knee injuries. It's just a matter of time before something goes wrong, in theory, right? But you thought this might always be a possibility. Is it disappointing that it's gone that way? Of course, especially after suffering to get him in the building in the first place. But man,
it comes down to Ben Simmons for me. Ben Simmons was the reason why the city has never won a championship, or the Sixers never won a championship.
I think not bringing back Jimmy Butler is the reason that they go into Tobias instead of Jimmy. And I'm not a Tobias hater necessarily. Can't blame that guy for accepting the contract offer that was put in front of him.
Ooh, that's a fun one to revisit, because that would change a lot. Now, would Jimmy run his course quickly and eventually get out of here? Would he stayed for a few seasons? I don't know. That's a risk.
I think he'd probably demand a few things. I think one of the reasons he wasn't willing to come back is he didn't like Brett Brown, for all reports say. Yep. I don't know if he's directly ever said that, but I think he wanted a tougher coach. So maybe they changed some things quicker. I think he would have tried to get something out of Ben Simmons mentally. And if they weren't willing to move on from Ben Simmons, then maybe he does run his course quickly if Ben doesn't get a little something, or Jimmy doesn't rub off on him a little bit. But he's the guy. I mean, that year especially, that was the year. I remember a lot of my friends who were more tuned into the NBA than I am saying, I don't know if they ever do it. This was the chance to do it.
I will still hold to my opinion that Ben Simmons, if he was the player that he was supposed to be, that if he continued to progress. And I never wanted, again, he was flawed. There's no perfect player out there. But Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, that was the two.
Yeah.
And especially for defensive side of the ball, like the length, you knew what you were getting there. If Ben Simmons continued to progress and eventually had some courage to pull up and shoot the ball, I think that this city would have eventually had a championship. But
I didn't even really care if he shot.
No, that was it.
I mean, he could have slowly developed that. Like, you have to have a jump shot eventually, but like, be a facilitator, be a defensive stopper. Maybe don't add Al Horford to those two big men already. That's another misstep. We'll talk about it another time. But
yeah, the issue is that he was a liability in late game situations too. So he had to shoot. He had to work.
Every round of his career, his numbers get worse and worse.
Correct. Yeah. Again, mentally, he lost it, and of course, there's no going back, and we know how that one played out. But it is fun to bring that one up. Anyways, you brought up Jimmy Butler, 9-1 now. The Warriors are with him in the 10 games that he's suited up. That's pretty darn good. They had a big victory last night at MSG that everybody was talking about. Second half comeback by the Warriors, and they are one of the teams that are out there that could potentially knock off the Oklahoma City Thunder for the NBA Finals, represent the West. Now, we were having fun discussion. You went Joker number 1. So you drafted Joker. I'm not here to argue that, but I will say Luka is probably it's 1B. 1A is Joker for me. Luka is 1B. Luka is the number 2 all-time leader in playoff points per game. Just took the Mavs to a finals where he averaged 29, 9.5, and 8. He scored 28 plus in every single conference finals and finals game. Thank you, Mark Henry Jr., for that stat.
That's very impressive.
Yeah,
that's very impressive.
It's pretty damn good. And I would say that we're going to continue to get that type of production from him right now. Now, Joker's obviously producing at a sick rate as well. You get a little of everything, but those numbers are hard to deny. I would lean towards Joker just with the size more than anything than Luka on the outside of the perimeter. Plus defense, we know what he lacks there. That was
the only difference maker for me was the defense.
Really. Correct. Not to say that Joker's all world either, but he is better defensively. So 1-2, are we in agreement there?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That was the tough decision for me.
Who's third for you?
See, that's where you start getting into questions. I've never been the biggest Giannis fan.
Okay.
I respect him. I know how talented he is. He deserves to be considered one of the greatest players in the league.
Oh yeah.
But it just something about him for me. I've never really put him in that conversation. Oh man, do you say KD just hoping he turns it back one more time? Do you say LeBron because he turned it back already? You're talking about a little bit older guys. I wouldn't go Wemby yet because he hasn't proved he can do it in the postseason. Same with Cat. Tatum, you
haven't even said SGA.
I don't watch enough Universal NBA to go to him right away.
All right. He is the MVP this year.
For sure.
He scored
I'm aware
50
of that.
points in the last 19 games, 4 times in the last 19 games.
I know of what he's doing. I just haven't watched it enough to be like, oh, that's the guy I want in that moment. But if you tell me that he's the third pick, I can't argue with you. So
I can't get there.
I'm
not going to say that. I honestly probably am with one of your first guy, Giannis.
Yeah. Well, and that's just me having a particular bias towards him. I don't know why I have a bias towards him. Maybe it's that ladder incident with the guy at the Wells Fargo Center the one time. But it's probably Shea, Giannis, LeBron, KD. Well, one of those guys has to be next.
I
know I just took them all from you.
I want us to be realistic and
pick somebody
till we get to LeBron. That's the goal here.
If you're telling me Giannis, I'll throw my bias aside, and I wouldn't argue with him being 3. He's been extremely efficient this year, so
I'm taking Giannis.
Okay, all right. I won't fight you on that.
Giannis is off the board, so we got 3. We're still waiting until we get to LeBron James.
What you just said about Shea might even though I haven't watched him, that might put him right there.
Yeah.
And I'd probably, if we want to say him 4, that's fine. But the other guys I mentioned, I'm taking LeBron before I take KD.
Definitely.
Yeah.
There's one guy, I think you said him. There's one guy that I definitely don't believe gets enough credit. And he plays on a very talented team that just won the championship, and it's Tatum. Now the question would be, all right, so SGA is off the board.
If you, again, I'll defer to you. If you think he's 4, I'll take it. But Tatum was up to. I look at what Tatum proved that he could do in that championship run, and I'd probably go him first. But again, that's me fully admitting that I just haven't watched enough OKC, despite how talented they are.
I am going to say SGA. So we got 4 players off the board. Oh, by the way, all 4 international.
Yeah, how about that? How about that?
Number 5, is it LeBron? Because now it goes Tatum, it goes LeBron, it goes Brunson, who's a hell of a player in the playoffs. Anthony Edwards is in that conversation. Durant's in that conversation. Jaylen Brown is in that conversation. Donovan Mitchell is in that conversation. I love Donovan Mitchell. I'm a huge Donovan Mitchell fan, but I'm taking LeBron above all. I think it goes 5. So if we're drafting, we take the 4 internationals, and then eventually we get to LeBron James, which if I had a drop, he would say, it's about damn time when he won the championship. Yes. So that is interesting, though. At 40 years old.
To think that a 40-year-old man is your 5th draft pick to lead your team in the postseason is pretty incredible.
And if you told me that you wanted to take him 3rd in front of Giannis, I think you can make the argument.
Yeah.
If you wanted to take him over SGA, who's the MVP of the league present day, I think there's an argument, which is just like that's where the crux of the conversation, that's the focus. It needs to be on that this is even something that we're discussing at this point in time of his career. It's insane.
Insanity that this guy is still playing at this level, still could lead any team to the playoffs. What, a couple years ago they were talking about, oh man, like he's barely getting in. Oh, needs the playoff game. Oh, did the in-tournament champion, the in-season tournament just so he could add another title to his resume. Needs all this stuff. Well, look where they are now. Yep. Look where they are now, and it's because of him.
All right, Kyle Fisher hanging with us, full show here. Coming up in the next hour, we're going to have Ryan Beef Coyle. Quickly on this, if we could. Back over to the NFL. We'll hit on some college hoops with Ryan when he joins us. Talk a little bit about Duke, talk about some big names. Auburn goes down last night. What does that mean? And, of course, the overall number 1 seed. That's a lock for Auburn. But what are the other 3? I know Duke will be in there. Houston will be in there. That 4th one is up for grabs. So we'll find out what Beef has to say about that. We got some big games coming down the next couple of days here as far as regular season is concerned. Villanova, but a tough loss last night. I think we'll have to jab at that. I know we are the home of Villanova. They have a decision to be made. And I'm not going to shy away from it. We got nothing but love and respect, and I'm pretty sure everybody is in agreement here. There are some crazy stats. This team just could not finish. Is that coaching? Does that change immediately if you do bring in a new coach? Does Neptune deserve a little bit more credit for the team that he has built? Is this something you're comfortable with signing off and moving on? I think this is an open discussion, and I don't think anybody is wrong with any way that they feel about this. But that was a brutal loss, to say the least, last night for Villanova. Anyways, over to what we were going to get to as far as the NFL, excuse me. Yeah, because DK Metcalf, the big story as far as that is concerned. DK Metcalf, he wants out of Seattle. So you got DK, who's available. You got Devontae Adams, who was just released by the New York Jets. Now, Devontae was once the best receiver in the game, if not for back-to-back seasons, if not even longer than that. Then he goes to the Jets, and it's like, how good is he? Oh, he's pretty damn good. DK, pretty damn good. Deebo Samuel ends up with the Commanders. Did they misplay their hand in your mind?
Yeah, I mean, when I saw 5th-round pick, I didn't think that it would be like, I was like, oh, that's not bad, right? Guy who, if he's healthy, is an extremely dynamic player. And then you see Devontae get cut a week later, and you're like, what? Well, they had waited a week. They could have kept that pick and hoped for the best or made a different move. I don't know how good they are at drafting yet, right? This organization, I mean, they've picked a few good players this past year. We'll see how they do long term. Maybe that 5th would have been more valuable, and they could have went out and signed a guy like Devontae or used that pick to go get DK. I know a lot of people are split on Deebo. He's had health problems. They probably did overplay a little bit, right? They wanted to make a move before the market played out. But if they identified that guy, and they've been identifying good talent these last couple of years, who's to say that it doesn't? We get halfway through the season, we're like, man, look, what a smart move by Washington. So I'm not going to commit to saying that it was a bad move until we see how it plays out, but you see how the market's starting to play out, and man, there was other options out there. Maybe you could have had somebody who's on paper at least a little bit more of a guaranteed thing.
Contracts aside, rank them. Top 3, who you got?
Ooh, Devontae, just based on history alone, he's one.
History?
Well, I mean, historically, he was one of the...
Sure.
Yeah.
But do you think he's still got that in him?
Oh, I do. Yeah.
Okay.
I do think that he still has it. I mean, like, don't take his stats from his Jets tenure.
Understood.
And maybe that last year with the Raiders. Don't
Totally
take the stats, but look at what you know he's done. I don't think he's over the hill by any means.
No.
I'd probably put Debo third. I love DK. I mean, maybe it's that rundown and that one famous play where he ran the dude down from across the field. Maybe it's the fact that he's built like a brick house. But you see the guy, he's a gamer. He goes out and plays really hard. You see the numbers. I'd probably put Debo third because even the 49ers, who seem to figure out what to do with everybody, have never really figured out what to do with him.
Devontae 32, Debo 29, DK 27.
20. He's only 27. I knew he was younger, but wow, I didn't realize he was that young.
Just turned 27.
Jeez. Yeah, then it's that order still.
Wow.
Devontae, DK, Debo third.
Devontae's 32.
Does he have a...
Just turned 32 as well.
We'll see who he goes to. Does he have a Randy Moss Patriots running him?
You would think that after the way this is all played out. Again, he has crippled his own career. It's his own fault. Look, he took the money and went to the Raiders.
Yeah.
All right. We all said it, that was a losing situation.
For sure.
But go and get your money. Cool. And then he went to the New York Jets to follow his boy Aaron Rodgers, and that was a disaster. So this is something that he's going to have to look himself in the mirror when we start talking about legacy. He is a great receiver. DK might be one for me. And I'm not a DK guy.
Oh, okay. That means a little more.
There you go. All right, Daily Ticket rolling on. 5 o'clock hour on the other side. We have been just chewing on everything. So if there's something you want to get off in your chest, as Mark Henry Jr. has affectionately called the Sports Carousel. I rolled out a new one yesterday, the Sports Safari.
I like that.
Did you like that?
I like that a lot.
Yeah. It hit me. I was in Animal Kingdom last week, and I just thought about like how you pull in and you got rhinos running this way, you got giraffes over here, you got lions over here, you got gorillas over there. And like we get here in front of the microphones and we're talking about everything here on March the 5th, as you often do. And
great time of year.
Yeah, it is a great time of year because you can mix it up and have fun and experiment and get people involved. It's a lot of fun here. All right, Daily Ticket rolling on. Other side. Speaking of that, the madness is here. Damn it. Yes. Ryan Beef Coyle is going to cover all things college hoops for us in the next hour. Don't touch that dial. Who are the 1 seeds in about 2 weeks? Selection Sunday is on March the 16th, 11 days away. The 4 1 seeds are who? Beef will tell us on the other side. More after this.
March Madness is here, and so is your bracket anxiety.
Powerman, he tries. Oh, he makes it. He makes it. There's a cow.
Wow! Don't sweat the upsets. Tune into the Daily Ticket with Sean Brace for sharp bets, bold takes, and just the right amount of chaos.
Oh!
Nobody covers the madness like the Gambler.
Hockey fans, here's a cool offer. BetMGM, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, is giving existing customers another reason to lace up and hit the ice this season. BetMGM is adding extra excitement to the goals, the checks, the face-offs, and the breakaways with an NHL odds boost token. Take your shot at extra winnings when you bet on NHL action with your favorite sports betting app, BetMGM. All you have to do is log into your existing BetMGM account today to receive your NHL odds boost token. Then simply add a hockey wager to your bet slip and activate your token. If your wager lights up the lamp, you'll receive extra winnings and unrestricted bonus dollars. Now that is an epic power play. Log into BetMGM, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus, Pennsylvania only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as withdrawable bonus dollars. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, help is available. Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hi, it's me, your USPS Ground Advantage shipment. Just left the warehouse.
I know. Just got the notification.
Made it.
Yes, I know. I get all the updates.
Stay in the know with USPS Ground Advantage service. Visit USPS.com/in-the-know.
Order for Jennifer C.
Is this my double shot, double cream, double froth, double pump, double whip, double sleeve?
Yeah. Can you handle that much caffeine?
Did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, really? That's great.
Seriously, did you know Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, you just said that.
Did you say I just said that?
Yeah, I'm cutting you off.
I can't have any more? Why not?
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
There's a lot on the line in a divorce. Your home, savings, maybe even your kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce and the unexpected directions it can take, you need a partner you can count on. I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. Don't let divorce take more than it has to.
Offices in Philadelphia, Radnor, and Allentown, Pennsylvania, and Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Rick Julius, licensed in Pennsylvania only. Michelle Ferrari, licensed in New Jersey and Pennsylvania. Online at CordellCordell.com.
Have you found your new favorite feature on the iHeartRadio app yet?
Presets and lyrics. This is so good.
I've been telling all my friends.
Wait, you guys aren't using this yet?
You're missing out.
Get in on what everyone's talking about and get the new and improved free iHeartRadio app today.
iHeartRadio.
Are you annoyingly inattentive? Do you watch a movie and then ask a zillion questions because you weren't paying attention? Do people ask, how do you sleep at night? Then you should get a mattress from Mattress Firm. They can help anyone sleep. Mattress Firm's Upgrade Your Sleep sale is happening now. Save up to $600 plus a free adjustable base with select Sealy mattresses. Get matched at Mattress Firm. Sleep at night. Restrictions apply. See store or mattressfirm.com for details.
Hey, Joy. Oh, you are glowing.
Oh, hey, more like Mira joyed that Miralax helped me go. I was so backed up. Tried mega coffees, prune juice, everything. Then Miralax. And hello, gentle relief without the harsh side effects.
Ooh, how does it work?
It works naturally with the water in your body for constipation relief. Find Miralax today at Walmart.
Use as directed for occasional constipation.
We all got a thing. Yes, even you. If you love fashion, car parts, trading cards, whatever you're into, it's on eBay. So go find the thing that keeps you up at night. eBay. Things people love.
Early evening downpours will lead to a drier second half of the night, but the winds still stay blustery, low temps mild in the mid-40s, and those winds still whip around on Thursday, gusting 30 to 35, sunshine mixing with some clouds in the afternoon, and a seasonal high of 52. I'm meteorologist Adam Joseph with your 6ABC forecast.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Business owners can now keep in touch with up to 200 staff members at one time. Go to rapidradios.com now for up to 60% off and free shipping.
Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. Now, total traffic for Philadelphia.
Rain causing problems for the drive home. We're channeled the Schuylkill eastbound Blue Route to Belmont, then crawling City Avenue past the boulevard where flooding has only the left lane getting by. Westbound Schuylkill, that's crawling University out to approaching the boulevard. There's flooding in the left lane there. And then stacked up approaching City to Belmont. Vine Expressway crawling both ways. Schuylkill to 95. 95 northbound jam Penn's Landing up to Bridge Street. Southbound 95 Jan Academy to the Betsy Ross. And so Allegheny, the Vine Expressway. All right, to tell it total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. A great alternative to a mobile phone for your kids. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get 60% off, free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off.
At Randall's Restaurant in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, we offer a high-quality dining experience that's upscale yet approachable. With a blend of American classics with unique flavors and a welcoming setting for any occasion, you can enjoy an elegant dinner or casual night out. Join us this March for happy hour from Wednesday to Saturday for food and drink specials, or check out our all-day Sunday brunch. And with our exciting seasonal specials and spring menu coming soon, there's always something new to enjoy. Visit randallslegacy.com to make your reservation today. That's randallslegacy.com.
Welcome to AT&T. How can I help?
Hey, I thought I could trust my twins with my phone, but they outnumber me, man.
Whoa, that's a lot of glitter paint.
Let's trade lives.
At AT&T, everyone can trade in an old or glittered iPhone any year, any condition, and save on a new iPhone. Ask how to get iPhone 16 Pro on us. New and existing customers. Savings vary by device and trade-in combinations. Restrictions apply. See att.com for details. AT&T. Connecting changes everything.
We rely on our cars a lot, but maintenance or breakdowns shouldn't slow us down.
Say hello to Cruisin', your complete car care solution. Download the Cruisin' app to quickly order roadside assistance for flats, jump starts, lockouts, and more. You can even request mobile oil changes and car detailing, all from a peer-to-peer network of trusted help. Download the Cruisin' app and discover car care redefined. Go to CRUZENapp.com. Cruisin', complete auto care at your fingertips.
At Rocket, we believe everyone deserves their shot at the American dream. So if you're feeling locked out of home ownership, we're here to give you back the keys. We're opening doors, breaking down walls, and doing everything we can to turn renters into owners. And we're not going to stop until we help everyone home. To find out more, visit rocket.com. Rocket, own the dream.
Number 1 on your car radio preset and the new and improved iHeartRadio app. WDAS and WD273D Philadelphia is Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler.
O'clock hour on the way. Let's go. Ryan Beef Coyle is going to join us in just a little bit. He is pulling over. Apparently, it's still pouring out there, so stay safe. Be careful, everybody, especially us when we'll be leaving here at 6 o'clock. One good, one bad for you real quick before we dial up Beef to talk some college hoops. The madness fast approaching. One good. You ready?
Go for it.
Kyle Fisher. If I didn't hit that, he's hanging with this full show here. Kyle Fisher 45. The Good, Happy Gilmore Part 2. Release date coming our way, July the 25th on Netflix.
Ooh, okay.
All right. You
I like that.
Adam Sandler guy, Happy Gilmore guy.
Yeah. I mean, you grew up on it.
Yeah.
I think Happy Gilmore has more legs than Billy Madison, even though when I was younger,
Definitely.
I probably liked Billy Madison more. But I mean, again, really close. But watching them back now, I remember watching Billy Madison with my son when he was like 13 and being like, this is, one, shouldn't be watching this with my kid. Two, just doesn't have the legs that it did. But we watched Happy Gilmore together and I didn't feel that way.
God, he's been in so many movies. The best
Click?
Adam, the best that I didn't like Click.
Really?
Yeah.
I liked it.
All right. What's the best Adam Sandler movie? Is it Happy Gilmore?
Ooh, I love Big Daddy.
Big Daddy's
Big
got
Daddy's
to be
so
up there.
good,
Yes,
man.
Big Daddy was so good. You're right.
It's probably Happy Gilmore, but I personally love Big Daddy.
You know what? In my top 5 is Anger Management. Definitely. Anger Management might be top 3 for me.
That's a good one. What was the stand-up, the comic thing that he did where
Wedding Singer?
No, well, I mean, that one was great.
Yeah.
Where he was like a washed-up comic. It was a little more serious.
Oh,
funny people.
There you go. Yeah. You a big movie guy?
I dabble.
Okay.
Not as much recently, but I do love me a good movie.
All right. And last but not least, bad and sad. Around the Horn has called it an end, called it a career.
Saw that.
Coming up in May.
Man.
21 seasons, I think. Did I have my short change? Is it 23?
23, yeah.
Dude. And going out on top, still pulling ratings out the wazoo, representing the 5 o'clock hour on ESPN. And they're saying enough is enough and waving a white flag. Dude,
they're going in a much different direction, man.
Well, I don't know what direction they're going in, but that was mandatory viewing for an hour. It still is.
Get home, do your homework, get home from high school, do my homework, watch Around the Horn and PTI.
Yeah.
Every single day.
I think a lot of us that are in this world right now, in the media world, content creators, we were motivated by that hour on ESPN. I know I was, specifically PTI.
Definitely.
I definitely emailed the producer for Around the Horn to try and get on.
Okay.
He followed me on Twitter a long time ago, and I'm like, dude, you never
That's
had
close.
you never had anybody from Philadelphia, and they only mess with writers. That was the thing.
Yeah.
We went back and forth. And I'm like, a writer I am not. So
think about it. That's where Mina Kimes, she started to grow real big there. Sarah Spain.
Yeah, they got some great names.
Yeah, some Woody Page.
Yeah, we'll talk about that one in future Daily Ticket shows here as far as who should be closing up shop because I definitely think Jay Mariotti needs to be on that, but that's just one man's take. Anyways, let's keep him moving. Joining us, he's not the Jay Mariotti for us here on The Gambler. I kid. No, he's the great Ryan Beef. Beef, do you even know who Jay Mariotti is?
Yeah, I grew up. That was my probably like middle school, elementary school, after school show.
Oh, nice. All right. Yeah, he's a miserable dude, but that's what made him intriguing. And then of course he had some other stuff that came out that was not good, that got him canceled. But if we were going to do our top 4 to close up shop, I think you got to send it back to the OGs. One man's take. Anyways, let's go ahead and bring it Ryan Beef Coyle. Let's talk some college hoops. Damn it, the madness, it's here. Beef, we got together last night and we had some technical difficulties. So I said, let's run it back today. Let's bring it. So here we are. And oh, by the way, I wanted to gloat because I did call number 1 Auburn going down. The upset happened last night. Texas A&M defeated Auburn, never trailed in the game. What do we take from that game last night as we're going to put our brackets together in just about 11 days here, Selection Sunday? What should we take away from that defeat last night, if anything?
Yeah, I mean, a hell of a night of college hoops last night. I was up till a little after midnight watching 2 games, both going to double overtime. But I think you kind of called it right on the spot there with A&M. It was just a good spot for them. I listened to a couple of things today. It was like after Auburn won last game, that was like kind of their Super Bowl where they clinched the SEC outright. They really had no motivational factor going into that game except what we were kind of talking about last night. They had a chance to, go 2 losses the entire season, run the table the entire way. They slipped up last night. Now they got Alabama again on Saturday, so a big one coming up. But we talked about it last night. Like Auburn is locked into the 1 seed. They could lose to Alabama on Saturday, and then they could lose their first game in the SEC tournament. They're still going to be the number 1 seed. 16 quad 1 wins this year. The next closest is Duke with like 10. By far the best resume, one of the best resumes we've ever seen. I mean, it was just a classic, letdown type of spot. Kudos to A&M too. That was on a losing streak, 4 games in a row. Big game last night, senior night. Unveiled Wade Taylor's jersey. They retired it in the rafters. I saw that video this morning. That was pretty cool. But good win for A&M to kind of get back where that was a team that was in the top 10 for a decent amount of the season thus far. 4-game losing streak recently. And for Auburn, you just kind of write that one off and on to the next one. It doesn't take anything away from their great season for me.
All right, Beef. We know, I think you talked a little bit about this last night, that Auburn could literally lose every game from here on out. They're not going to lose the overall 1 seed. Is that correct? Number 1. And number 2 is, tell us in your mind right here, right now on March the 5th, who are the 4 1 seeds when we do get the bracket coming up here on March the 16th?
Yeah, Auburn's locked in. Duke will be locked in.
Wait. Let me stop you. Is Auburn locked in to the overall 1?
Yes.
Okay.
Nothing will change that. They'll be the 1, even if they lose their next 2 games by 25 plus points. I still think they'll be the number 1 overall seed. Just because it goes back to nothing against Duke and what they've been doing, their dismantlings, but they haven't beat a ranked team since they played Auburn, and that was at home back in December. So Auburn basically every single night is playing a ranked opponent. So with that goes hand in hand, all their wins are against, quad 1 opportunities. They basically almost have double more than Duke. But alongside Auburn, I would put Duke in there. Barring anything catastrophic, it's going to be Houston as the 3rd. And then if you made me pick today, I'm going to go with Alabama. They have a big game tonight against Florida. I like Alabama tonight. Got them -2.5. And then Saturday, they have the opportunity to beat Auburn. Who knows? But still, that's a great opportunity. They have a chance just in this week alone to get 2 of the biggest wins on the season out of any team. So I like Alabama to get that. And there's a chance it's like a Tennessee or a Florida, but we have to see who does the most damage there in the SEC tournament.
Beef, big picture question here. And, we're in the final week of the regular season. I get it. There are teams on the bubble, and that's a big story. But potentially, we're talking about teams that are going to win a game, maybe 2, maybe make it to that next weekend, and that's a successful story for them at the end of their year. At this point in time, what should we be paying attention to in your mind in the world of college hoops? Who's playing for something? What's up for grabs in this final week of the regular season? What's caught your attention as far as something that we really need to be paying attention to as we close up shop here?
Well, last night was a pretty crazy game. It was Ohio State and Nebraska. Winds up going to double overtime, and those are two teams that are squarely on the bubble. I tweeted out, like, these two teams are playing like their lives depend on it, and quite frankly, they did. Ohio State's able to get the win. Nebraska falls kind of off the radar a little bit, and then upcoming on Saturday, it's not the biggest profile game, but I'm calling it the Bubble Bowl. It's between Indiana and Ohio State. This is at Indiana, I believe. Those are two teams squarely on the bubble. You probably figure the loser of that one is going to have to make some damage in the Big Ten tournament, and the winner is probably going into the Big Ten tournament feeling pretty comfortable, probably thinking all they need is a win and they should be in the tournament. So that's something that I'm certainly highlighting this weekend. And then kind of, as you talked about big picture wise, sorting out these one seeds. Alabama has a chance to get two monstrous wins. If Alabama beats both Auburn and Florida, I think they'll be your fourth number one seed. Houston going for another Big 12 title. The Big 10 title still up for grabs this weekend as well. You got another matchup between Michigan State and Michigan. Michigan State can win it outright. So title races coming up down the line. And then also big picture wise, you're going to get some tickets punched this weekend. You're going to get the Missouri Valley Conference, who could have a team that historically the Missouri Valley Conference is one of the mid-majors that does some damage in the tournament, whether it's a Drake, whether it's a Bradley, Northern Iowa. Those are the teams to keep an eye on. And then you got some low majors as well, Atlantic Sun, OVC, that are going to be punching tickets too. So you'll finally start to see the field get officially filled out.
All right. We do have a couple conference tournaments going in action, including tonight, where we have the Sun Belt tournament. Southern Miss taking on Georgia Southern here. We got the Northeast Conference. They're going off as well. Wagner and St. Francis. Is anybody's ticket getting punched this evening? I'm sorry if you just said that. I know you did bring up that we were going to see tickets being punched this week, of course. Anybody tonight? Is there a championship game tonight?
No, not until Saturday after Duke UNC. It'll be the OVC tournament. They punch the first ticket.
All right. So anything for you as far as conference tournament play going off this evening?
Yeah, I have a couple plays on tonight. I do have Central Connecticut State minus 13.5 tonight in the Northeast Conference tournament. They're playing Lemoyne. Central Connecticut State's a really good team. St. Joe's is a good team in the A-10, but they went to St. Joe's and beat them this year. They've been a team that's been dominating in these conference tournaments. And as we know, with these small conference tournaments, these teams are only getting one bid. So they have to go out there and really play their best. There's no room to kind of let off the gas. They can't afford to slip up at all. And then when you look at a team like Lemoyne, they're just ready to kind of pack it up. The season's over, 9-22 overall. You get to play the best team in the conference now. I look at Central Connecticut State there. And staying in the Northeast Conference tournament, I also have Wagner plus 3.5 against St. Francis. Wagner is a team that went to the NCAA tournament last year. They won it as a lower digit seed, the NEC tournament. So this is a team that's been experienced in this spot before, and they play like the slowest pace in the country. Their total last week against Long Island, I believe it was up 111.5 on Saturday, and it went under that total. That's how slow of a pace the team plays. So it's a funky kind of team to play. I like Wagner plus 3.5 in that one. I think that they can win that one outright as well.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the conferences and what we have coming up here, the breakdowns. We got 12 teams, and I know it's a new day and age in college sports because of these these conferences have added so many teams, and it's just it's wildness. But it still is eye-opening to see 12 teams from the SEC, potentially 11 teams from the Big 10, 8 from the Big 12, and that's all right, that number right there. But you know the number that does get me, and it really trips me up? It's not those, it's the other way. 4 from
ACC?
No, you're right. The ACC should be top of the mind because that's when you think of that conference, you think of basketball, but also Big East. And we're talking about 4 teams potentially from the Big East. And there was a team with Villanova beef that had a tough season, specifically at the end of games. They just could not finish. What are we supposed to do? And I say this, throwing it out there, because we are the home station for Villanova, and nobody pulls more than we do. But these are uncomfortable conversations that are happening. Like, let's just be realistic about it, because you're talking about a program that had a lot of success under Jay Wright, and I do believe that Neptune with 3 seasons, I think that's a pretty good amount of time to allow him to prove something. I don't think that Kyle Neptune is just some terrible coach that got an opportunity. No, I think he's a good coach, but he is flawed, specifically at the end of games. What are we supposed to read into right now And we'll see what happens as far as the university. I don't want to talk about whether or not you need to fire him or not, but how are we supposed to judge the end of game results and the fact that Villanova consistently comes up short? Is that a roster build? Is that a coaching detail for you? Where are you at with that discussion?
Well, I started off with coming into the year, I didn't really view the roster as all that talented, like outside Eric Dixon and Wuga. Those are obviously two high talented guys that are going to get NBA looks. But outside of that, the overall roster wasn't that talented. Like your biggest upgrades were getting transfers from within the Big Five, with Rickus coming from LaSalle, Perkins coming from Penn. Like this is, once again, I've talked about this time and time again, but this is Villanova. Like it wasn't too long ago that this was a team that is regular competing in the Final Four, winning 2 national championships in a span of 3 years. It's not okay just to regress to a team that, oh, well, they made the tournament, his job should be saved. Like the expectation should be much higher than that. And it goes back to whether or not you believe if Kyle Neptune should come back or not. I think there's 2 major voices that you're going to have to listen to in regards to that. It's, first of all, there's a new AD in there. So does he want to hire his own guy, get his own basketball coach in there, and make his kind of first big time move as the AD? And 2, does Jay Wright, how big of a voice does Jay Wright, still have within the program? Obviously, he built it kind of from the ground up there, from what he inherited. It wasn't a great state of affairs, and he built them into a team that won 2 national championships, went to 3 Final Fours, 4 Final Fours even. I forget it off the top of my head, but how much of a voice does he still have? Because he handpicked Kyle Neptune. Does he want, his handpicked guy to look, as a complete failure? 3 years, no tournament appearances. And Jay Wright has also been on the record saying, like, look at my start to Villanova. Like, it took time to build it up, took time to build the culture. But at the end of the day, this is a different sport than it was back in 2000 or whenever Jay took over. You see what a guy like Rick Pitino has done. You see what a guy like Louisville. Look at Louisville and Pat Kelsey. They were the worst Power 5 basketball program in the country last year, maybe even the past 2 years, and they're going to be like a top 5, top 6 seed in the NCAA tournament. You can turn these things around overnight nowadays in college basketball. So if you had to make the decision today, I'd probably look at a guy outside of Kyle Neptune, just because the same things have happened over and over again, and usually that comes back to coaching at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's tough, and there's a tweet that's circling the timeline, and it really is eye-opening. And it's tough because this team was in a lot of these games and just came up short, came up small at the end.
Even half the games that they blow, even if they blew half the games, like they would be a locked tournament team right now.
And that's the tough pill to swallow. Like this is from CJ Dexter, which has gotten a ton of views here. Led Columbia 28-20. 95% win probability loss. That game was on the main line at the Finn.
Columbia won 1 game in the Ivy League this year.
Wow. Oof. Led 29-21 versus St. Joe's, had an 80% win probability, ended up losing that game. Led Maryland 38-24, 88% win probability, lost the game. Xavier 54-48, 4:40 to go, 81% win probability lost. Georgetown 63-55 with 3:33 left, 97% win probability loss. Creighton 60-59 with 8 seconds, 82% win probability. Bank shot off the glass from side corner, side pocket. Led UConn 53-39, 94% win probability. Tough to win. But they ended up losing that game. Led Georgetown again, 69-60 with 3:30 left. That was last night, if I'm not mistaken. 95% win probability, ended up losing.
And the game that we went to, the St. John's game, you can argue they should have lost that one too.
Yeah,
Eric Dixon doesn't make like 2 miracle threes from the parking lot.
It's hard not to say that Kyle Neptune isn't the best at the end of games, and therefore that is a huge reason why they continue to come up small and short and lose those games. It's just the reality of what we have right now. And I never wish anybody to lose a job, but I think Beef is correct with what his take is. They expect a little bit more up in Villanova, and I'm pretty sure Kyle Neptune would say exactly that. So here we are. Beef, great job across the board. College hoops, man. The madness is here. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's go. Let's get it. We will be all over everything madness for you here, specifically with Beef. We got the college Basketball Catch-Up Show, midweek edition. We're going to be doing a lot more here on the Daily Ticket in the 5 o'clock hour. And then we got Beef's Bets coming to you live on Friday as well. Joseph Kometz and Ryan Beef Coyle taking you up through everything in college hoops, specifically with the Saturday card, getting you ready for some of those wagers. Anything else on the way out here, Beef?
I like Michigan tonight. Need a bounce back win. They've had 2 losses in a row at home to Illinois and Michigan State. And this is just after Dusty May got a new big contract extension, so he wouldn't leave for Indiana. A Michigan team that was playing with their fire a little bit. I've been winning a lot of close games throughout the year. They need to kind of get back on the winning side. It reminds me a little bit of the spot last night with Texas A&M. So I like Michigan tonight. I would assume that's a senior night game as well.
Michigan, 1.5 favorite on DraftKings Sportsbook, 154.5. You know who's not going to be happy about that one, right?
No, I don't.
Sam Ostry. He's going to be in studio with me tomorrow. He doesn't want to hear Maryland's going to lose. They got to find a way to win a game.
He gave me Maryland last week against Michigan State, and we saw how that one ended. So revenge spot.
Lord, I need someone to deliver me from these pick sixes. Yeah, that was a tough loss. All right, Beef. Great job across the board. Hey, couple quick ones before you get out of here because we've been all over the place. LeBron James, if you had to draft somebody right now for this upcoming NBA playoff run, who you taking number 1?
Well, when you asked the question, you said your NBA squad, so I put Jokic for the Sixers because they don't have Embiid. I would probably
No, it has nothing to do with the Sixers. It's just you. Okay. You are putting a team together for the upcoming NBA playoffs. Who's your number 1 pick?
I'd probably go Luka. I just like the guy that has the ability to take the shot at the end.
Then Joker too?
I'd probably go like KD too still.
Oh, see. All right, he's throwing a little curveball in there.
Okay.
Yeah, all right. We wasn't sure. Is LeBron in your top 5?
Yes.
Okay. It's fantastic to see what he's been able to do. All right, and then finally, your favorite Adam Sandler movie.
Who's Adam Sandler? No, I'm kidding. I'd probably go
Chalamet.
Happy Gilmore, but I like Grown Ups a lot too. I throw Grown Ups.
That's a good one.
Nice. Ryan Beef Coyle, you're the man. Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll catch up later. Always a pleasure to have you on the Daily Ticket, sir. Drive safe. All right, drive safe.
Talk to you.
You're the man. There he is. He's on a generational run, Ryan Beef Coyle. He's on a
nice little appearance from our guy.
Oh, Beef's the man. Beef is
I just laid out. I was like, he's on a roll. I don't want to get in his way.
Beef's a freak. College hoops.
Yeah.
He's got like this I forget what they call it, but like he's got this, this like, I don't know. I don't want to offend anyone, but like this autism type vibe where he's just like able to focus and he's got these tidbits that he's just pulling out of nowhere. And it's just unbelievable.
To follow college hoops, I think you have to have a different brain than it's just so much.
College hoops, college football.
Oh, yeah.
Could not agree with you more, my friend. It is amazing. And we have some great brains. Beef, Mark Henry Jr., Tansy. I'm probably forgetting a couple. Oh, McClay is in that conversation. But like the change, the portal, the constant,
especially now with the portal and the NIL, it's just everything's changed.
I can't remember who's on the 53 for the Eagles.
No.
And you want me to talk about a team that just, completely changed everything from the coaching staff to the quarterback to the offensive line to the defense. Like Ohio State got all those new players, and it's just insane. And these guys are all over it, man. They do an incredible job. So my job is to just elevate them and allow them to shine as Beef just did. So I appreciate that as well. Nice work there.
Now, before we move on, unless we're about to take a break, then I can hold it to the other side.
Do you think, bro?
Before we move on, he did mention that St. Joe's has had a good season. I want to get a quick plug in for my friend Aaron Bracey.
Great last name.
Oh, yeah. But
Aaron's a good dude. I've been following him for a long time.
AP writer, covers everything Philly. He also runs big5hoops.com. If you grew up in an era or had the stories passed down to you about the heyday of the Big Five, he just released a book this past weekend, A Soaring Season, the incredible, inspiring story of the 03-04 St. Joe's Hawks. Really great layout. I just went to the book release last week at the library on St. Joe's campus. Got myself an advanced copy. Phil Martelli gave a great speech there. Really great story about a great team that really captured Philadelphia. I remember when I wasn't a college sports fan, that almost got me into it right there. They piqued my interest, that team. So great book. It's not your traditional, hey, here's game one. here's how it went. On to the next one. They talk about the game, but they introduce a new story and a new character every single chapter. They give you a little bit of insight every single chapter, and there's a great chapter on Delonte. He didn't get a chance to talk to Delonte West, even though West and his family were open to it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just didn't work out scheduling wise. He would have had to really move some things around to get him in, but great stories about Delonte in there. I read the whole thing in one weekend, and I'm not a book guy, so
nice.
Great book for if you're looking for something to revisit the Big 5 day, the Big 5 heyday rather, and that season in particular. Go get yourself a Soaring Season.
Soaring Season.
Yes, sir.
Nice work there. Yes, nice work by Aaron Bracey putting that together, and even reaching out to Delonte. We're all pulling for him, right?
yeah.
Everybody is. It's very unfortunate to see what has happened over the years, but we nothing but the best for him, and of course, great basketball minds on that St. Joe's team with Phil, who continues to do stuff in the public eye as far as he was just announcing the Villanova game. I saw him at the beach last summer. He's a big Jersey Shore guy, of course. And then
Jameer was the GM of the Blue Coats, right?
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so he's down there. And I'm sure there's a lot of other players that are involved as well. Adam Booth is our guy, and it's something that he needs to pick up. I'm sure Adam will be all over it. But you're right. I remember the Sports Illustrated cover. With Jameer on that. And, that was when I was visiting my friend before I moved up here in 2004. I was visiting, and I just remember that we were constantly talking about that and pulling for St. Joe's. And, we had some friends that went to St. Joe's, so it was cool. But yeah, man, I pull for all the teams. I'm easy to do that. It's easy for me to do that because I have no allegiance to anyone. We pull for Villanova because we're the home of Villanova. But before we even had the home of Villanova title, me as a sports fan, I pulled for Jay Wright. I was wagering on Villanova winning the national championship in both runs. Even before then, with Scotty driving down the lane against Pitt, big fan there. You go to I'm thinking Neptune. Why am I drawing a blank? Kyle, from the the three studs for Villanova back in the day with Alan Ray and Kyle Lowry. Jeez.
Kyle. I'm sorry.
Sorry. Yeah. Kyle Lowry. In those days, of course, going up against UNC and the travel that should have been called, but pulling for all those teams locally. And even when Drexel had a run and LaSalle had a run, Drexel didn't have a run. They just made the tournament. We were pulling for them.
What was the South Philly floater, right?
South Philly floater. LaSalle had a run.
The little pump fake and the little floater from Juan Fernandez for Temple a few years ago with that Lavoy Allen squad.
Pulled for Temple plenty of times with Christmas. Who else, man? Of course, Fran.
Fran that just retired.
Yeah, pull for all these schools. And when you get a school from Philly in the tournament, it's a big damn deal. And we need to get back there a little bit more representation when it comes to the madness.
We got time for one more. We heading to break.
Save it for the other side.
Gotcha.
That's Kyle Fisher. He's hanging with me. We got coming down the home stretch. We're up against it, but more on the other side. It's the Daily Ticket. Back after this.
Fox Sports Radio, The Gambler. Now, total traffic for Philadelphia.
Back on the Walt Whitman, into New Jersey. Delay begins at Passyunk, continues up to and across the bridge, down to 42 south at Creek Road. Vine Expressway crawling both ways, Schuylkill to 95, 95 northbound, Jan up the state line, the Commodore Barry. Penn's Landing up to Bridge and Academy to Woodhaven with a crash in the left lane, south of 95, Jan Copman to Girard. Then Penn's Landing to the Girard Point Bridge. Schuylkill westbound crawling University to the Boulevard with flooding in the left lane, and eastbound crawling Conshohocken to the Boulevard. Flooding is only the left lane getting by. All right, to tell total traffic.
This report is sponsored by Rapid Radios.
Rapid Radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. A great alternative to a mobile phone for your kids. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get 60% off. Free UPS shipping. Add code radio and get an extra 5% off.
Hockey fans, here's a cool offer. BetMGM, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, is giving existing customers another reason to lace up and hit the ice this season. BetMGM is adding extra excitement to the goals, the checks, the face-offs, and the breakaways with an NHL odds boost token. Take your shot at extra winnings when you bet on NHL action with your favorite sports betting app, BetMGM. All you have to do is log into your existing BetMGM account today to receive your NHL odds boost token. Then, simply add a hockey wager to your bet slip and activate your token. If your wager lights up the lamp, you'll receive extra winnings and unrestricted bonus dollars. Now that is an epic power play. Log into BetMGM, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus, Pennsylvania only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards issued as withdrawable bonus dollars. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, help is available. Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now, all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin. And over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Are you annoyingly inattentive? Do you watch a movie and then ask a zillion questions because you weren't paying attention? Do people ask, how do you sleep at night? Then you should get a mattress from Mattress Firm. They can help anyone sleep. Mattress Firm's Upgrade Your Sleep sale is happening now. Save up to $600 plus a free adjustable base with select Sealy mattresses. Get matched at Mattress Firm. Sleep at night. Restrictions apply. See store or mattressfirm.com for details.
Hey, man, you all right? Need me to call 911? No, call Top Dog Law. Get top dollar for your accident at topdoglaw.com. Once again, that's topdoglaw.com. Coming down the home stretch here on a Wednesday edition of the Daily Ticket. Kyle Fisher doing a bang-up job as usual, sitting in for the full show.
Thank you, sir.
Great job as always, Kyle. Kyle Fisher 45 on socials. What's your next item coming out on the timeline, sir? And of course, Kyle, as I said, on all things socials, Kyle Fisher 45, but Philly Sports Network. What are you working on? What's something that you just posted?
So something I just posted, I did a little book review of the Soaring Season that we touched on the other side.
Nice.
Under Armour reached out with a little press release about the new spring training version of Harper's Cleats, so I did a little piece on that.
Very cool.
But the thing I'm working on now is the versatility that the Phillies have shown during this spring training run. So you've seen Kyle Schwarber get some innings in left field. He's also played a little bit of first base. They're moving Buddy Kennedy and Edmundo Sosa, getting them some outfield run. Bryce Harper even was quoted. I saw a nice piece by Tim Kelly of On Pattison. He even said that if they were to go out and get an impact first baseman, he'd be more than willing to move back to the outfield. So a lot of talk about what versatility this roster can bring. I think Schwarber was quoted earlier in the week saying he wants to be the most versatile DH of all time. So with a team that won 95 games, won their division, World Series appearance 2 seasons ago. For them to still be tinkering and finding different ways to approach the season and different ways to win is exciting to me. So that you'll see that from me a little bit later this week.
Nice. Excellent stuff. Be sure to follow everything on social. Speaking of something that's on socials, you brought up the pre-show.
Yes, sir.
On YouTube, correct?
Yes, sir.
Local guys?
Yeah, so perfect conversation. We were just talking about the NCAA tournament. My guy, Dan Koob, Rudy Mezzi, and a few other of our friends from
Rudy.
Temple. Yeah, great dude. A few of our close friends from Temple University were all in broadcast production together there at the same time, 2010 to 2012 range. These guys back then talked about they were our top guys in the major.
Okay.
So anytime we traveled, they were the guys who went, right? And they really started traveling across the country and seeing what different towns are like. Everybody grew up near Philly or in Philly, and really seeing these smaller towns and what sports means to them was a passion for them that they've finally been able to bring to light. So tonight at midnight on YouTube at Sportstown Show, they are dropping their very first episode. The show, Sportstown, they are embarking on a journey to find the best sports town in America. Beyond the fact that it's just sports, just winning in the games themselves, talking about the heart of those cities, what makes those cities tick. And if you ever want to go, if you see how crazy the Kentucky fans are, the Duke fans are, when you watch this NCAA tournament, go check out Sportstown. They're going to give you insight into what you can do if you want to go see them up close and personal.
Now it's via YouTube. Anything on socials do you know of off the top of your head?
Yeah, so on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, at Sportstown Show. They'll be on there. They've released a lot of trailers, teasers, a lot of fun videos that they're doing leading up to the leading up to the first episode. And that first episode drops tonight at midnight. So make sure you give those guys a couple Philly guys, a couple Temple legends, putting together a nice show. Their first stop will be Kentucky, University of Kentucky. So they'll be down in Kentucky, giving you a little bit of insight into how sports makes that town tick.
Yeah, I followed Dan, and he follows me back. These are the names that just pop off, and I'm like, I don't remember their names, but yes.
And my guys, Rob and Pat, not only are they producing the show, but they actually own a production company in Philly, 2020 Visual Media.
Yes.
They are constantly winning awards for being one of the best up-and-coming companies, one of the best growth companies. When they graduated, I assumed they were going to go into news or some sort of documentary production. They decided to stay local, build their own brand, build their own thing, and they have thrived under that. Dan, after being a reporter for a few years, came back to Philly, same with Rudy, and they really hit the ground running with this project, and they finally get to release that first episode. So I'm really excited for those guys. I'm actually going to be doing a little review early next week on the first episode, so you can look out for that on Philly Sports Network as well. But really excited to see it. I might stay up until midnight to check it out tonight. We'll see if my eyes let me, but
very cool, man. Yeah, and I'd love to see any way that we can help them get some pub, next week or whenever their schedules are available.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's get
Dan's
him in
on a
studio.
pub tour right now. He's in Kentucky since that's the first episode. So we actually wanted to see if he could get on earlier. He had an interview scheduled already, but I'll put you guys in contact to make sure that we can get him on sometime next week.
That's the fun stuff, man. That right there seems like that would be a ton of fun, being able to travel and see a lot of the sports cities that, of course, we talk about daily. And look, I was very lucky for a few years to be in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I saw Chapel Hill front and center, went to a few games. That would be number one on my list, that I would think you'd have to do a Duke UNC game.
Oh, yeah.
Hands down. I never was able to get into Durham to see a game, but was able to make a few games at Chapel Hill. So that would be number one for me. I know that, like you said, with Kentucky, and I don't know where this would fit into the world of what they're trying to do, but the Kentucky Derby is something I've always wanted to do. And I know that's a part of being a Kentucky sports fan, right?
For sure.
But there's no doubt about it. Kentucky Blue Devils are crazy.
In one of the teasers, Dan is talking to a horse that's in a stable down there, and the horse bites him.
Get out of here.
Great trailer.
Oh, man.
Dan's a great guy, great host. So I'm excited for those guys. And if you're into sports at all, especially smaller towns, they have Lexington, Kentucky. They'll have Philly. They did a little man on the street during the Super Bowl parade, and they also have Tuscaloosa coming up. So look forward to those as their first few episodes.
Excellent stuff. Great job, Kyle, on that one. Coming down the home stretch, a lot of people checking in on some stuff over the full show, and as the Philadelphia Sports Safari, excuse me. I need to get some sound effects of some monkey. some stuff like that. Yes. As we're looking around the safari, hitting on all of the topics that have went down. First of all, we had breaking news immediately before the show started, essentially. Zach Baun was signed to a new contract by Howie Roseman and the Philadelphia Eagles. So Zach Baun, the all-pro linebacker, will be back for that great defense another year with Vic Fangio. Sky is the limit. The money, though, that was the most eye-opening deal. And we're talking $34 million guaranteed. And you brought up something about the ultimate bet on situation, bet on yourself.
1 year, $4 million to come from being a special team specialist down in New Orleans, coming here, betting on himself, willing to accept a different role, pays off big time. To see a guy who's that motivated has to motivate you on some level.
Who was the one that said, was it Howie or was it Vic that was like, or was it Nick? I forget who it was, but somebody was really the one that was a little adamant more than the others to get him into that middle linebacker position versus bringing him in. I forget what that was. Maybe I'm probably crossing up two stories because I remember Becton was discussed and Stoutland said that before the Super Bowl that the reason why they put him at that position was because of Sirianni said, let's give him a shot. And I thought that he deserved a ton of credit on that one. I forget about Zach Baun, though, who originally saw him.
What I'm seeing from our guy, Jeff Kerr, we mentioned him earlier, CBS sports writer, covers the Eagles. He, in his piece about the contract, he said that it was Fangio thought he might fit in a different role. And clearly whatever he saw was right.
Very cool. And, look, that's the ultimate bet on yourself. And now you get $34 million guaranteed. Oh, yeah. Great guy. Behind the scenes, I'm telling you, Zach was just a great dude, a true gem when he was out there.
And right up your alley, Bald is back with him and Nick, man. Let's go.
He is bald. He is. I don't think he can actually grow like the receding hairline.
The U doesn't exist on his head.
He's just gone. Yeah, either that or he just shaves it twice a day because that thing is shiny.
He doesn't have a 5 o'clock shadow, nothing.
No, if you give me 3 days, I can look somewhat of Dave Matthews. I can get it up to there. But, he's Mr. Clean with it. All right. And then we were talking a little bit about LeBron James, had a great conversation about what he's doing right now. And I just think it deserves a little bit more attention than and don't misconstrue that. Don't take it the wrong way. Yes, there's plenty of attention on LeBron James, but it just feels like, man, we should all be saying the same thing, and that is consistent. It should be, we're never going to see this again. At 40 years old in the NBA, we are never going to see somebody play like this ever again. And I know that when you talk about 40-year-olds in other sports, there are plenty of them out there. Maybe not plenty, but there were some great ones. Of course, Tom Brady played at an extremely high level at 40 plus. Matter of fact, he turned 40 when he was with the Patriots. Think about that. He turned 40 when he was with the Patriots. Think about what he did with the Bucks, where he was throwing the touchdowns left and right, wins a Super Bowl.
The guy had like 3 separate Hall of Fame careers. It's insane what that guy did throughout his life.
It really is. And, we brought it up as far as baseball was concerned. David Ortiz played till he was 40, and he had a great season with the Red Sox when he turned 40, to the point that he was a top 6 in the MVP voting to close up shop as far as in that season. So I think that there deserves a little bit of attention there. We also talked about the good and the bad, and we had some fun with Adam Sandler coming in. There's a lot of folks saying it starts and ends with Happy Gilmore for them. And I would just say, Happy was great. Where was that in the, as far as the releases? Because Big Daddy was before Happy Gilmore, wasn't it? Let me pull it up.
I thought Happy Gilmore was first. I could be wrong, though.
That's my point. Like, this was,
He had a run there, man. Let's look at it. 98. No, so 95, he does Billy Madison.
Okay.
96, Happy Gilmore. 98, Wedding Singer and Waterboy. 99, Big Daddy.
Oh, so Big Daddy was after. Okay.
2000, Lil Nicky. I mean, and then Mr. Deeds
Mr.
a couple years later.
Yeah. Anger Management.
Nights.
Anger Management was mine.
50 First Dates. Great movie.
You think so?
I enjoyed it for what it was. It was a rom-com, but I enjoyed it.
Grown Ups. Everybody loves Grown Ups. He's still doing it, man. And the best part about Sandler is he's doing it his way. And of course, Uncut Gems.
Oh, great
It was
film.
a great movie. And I'm ashamed to admit it, I've never seen Hustle.
It took me a while to see it. It's worth a watch.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a really good film.
And of course, it's got Philadelphia. It was shot in Manayunk.
Yeah.
Part of it was.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I need to watch that.
It's good. It's good. I'm not going to say it's life-changing, but especially if you're a Philly guy, it's worth a watch.
All right. Great stuff. Kyle Fisher, great job across the board, man. Hanging out all show, sir. Thank you very
Thanks
much.
for having me.
Love to do it again, man, and get you in as much as possible. You do a great job covering all of Philadelphia sports and then some. So, again, the open door policy rolls on here. Anytime we can have you, love to have you, sir.
Sounds good, man.
Anything you want to plug before you get out of here for you personally?
Me personally, just check out Philly Sports Network. I'll be dropping my my little piece on the versatility, and make sure you give them a follow. Guys are across the board are covering all the sports. We have great coverage of the Flyers, great Union coverage, great Eagles coverage over there. So give them a shout. You've plugged me enough. I want to plug them now.
Nice. Yeah, speaking of the Philadelphia Union, Tom Bogert was supposed to join us today, but unfortunately we could not make it happen. He will join us a little bit later in this month, but the Philadelphia Union are now 2-0. Big game coming up this weekend. Long season. Nobody's getting too crazy. But X is into you. Adam Booth, Sebastian Latou, Matty G. Excuse me. I just burped. Matty G. I can't tell you that's ever happened to me before. I swear to you on the mic. But anyways, Matty G, they'll be recording live tomorrow at noon. We'll have that for you on the air following the Daily Ticket. So all things Philadelphia Union coming your way. 2-0 to start the season. 8 goals, 4 in each. Can they average 4 goals per game? I kid. It'd be a lot of fun if they did. All right, I'll be back tomorrow. Sam Oster's going to be hanging with me. Full show. We'll talk a lot of college hoops, a lot of NBA. He's back off a trip to Greece. He was all over the place. So I look forward to catching up with Sam Oster. And again, we got a great giveaway from the Philly Show. Check us out on all things Instagram at FoxPHL Gambler. We are giving away a LaShawn McCoy signed autographed helmet. All you got to do is give us a follow the Philly Show, tag 3 friends, and bing, bang, boom. You could be winning that autographed helmet. We'll give it away on Friday when we're broadcasting live. Everybody, enjoy the rest of your day. Stay safe out there. We'll talk to you. Peace.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Nia.
Hi, Nia. It's Jennifer. Did you know that Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, I work here.
Okay. I was just double checking. Get it?
Because Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, you get me, Nia.
Or you could say that I double get you.
I guess we've taken it too far.